York Giant fans. Well, you don't have to. It's been bad. We got 3 more weeks, Baddog. 3 more weeks, the season's over, and then we'll finally get our answer on the direction of this football team. January 10th. I got the day circled on my calendar. That's the Monday after the last day of the season.
Black Monday. Lay down, New York Giants fans.
What's going on?
Chris, another day in paradise, my man. Another day of being a New York Giants fan. It's bliss. It's bliss. If you're a Cowboys fan or something, maybe. Dire Giants fan, thank you for the super chat. Before we started, I actually took a picture of this. He says, trade back both top 5 picks, gain a ton of capital for the desired outside GM. How is it a question? I don't trust this in-house shit. I don't trust the in-house crap either.
So is he asking if we think we should trade back?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I don't know. But it all depends on who's there. I mean, I'm definitely open to trading back with at least one of them. I don't know if I would trade back both, but it all depends on who's there. But, yeah, I think you have to at least explore trade opportunities to give yourself more draft capital in 2023 when I think it's clearly a stronger quarterback draft class. I think we're both in agreement. We don't want to take a quarterback this year. So trading back in the 2023 draft class when it's supposed to be a much stronger quarterback draft class, yeah, I think it makes sense if the right deal presents itself to get yourself an extra first-round pick in that draft.
I agree. I'd be fine with using a top 5 pick on a lineman, one way or the other, offensive or defense. I prefer offense. But, yeah, if you could trade that second pick back, like I said, into the middle 20s and maybe get another lineman, another end or something, a corner, something that we could really use and gain capital for next year. And hopefully we have an outside GM and a new coach and a new quarterback and everything else. And the quarterback class is better. I'm definitely for gaining future draft capital because we're going to need it to rebuild this team. That's for sure. And then Dire Giants fan, thank you again for the super chat. He said for both of you, obviously that was the question. And then Dire Giants fan, thank you for the super sticker. Whee!
And I saw Matrix. I saw a couple of people ask me in the chat what movie I saw. I saw Matrix.
Matrix.
I'll have a review out on it tomorrow, but it's going to be like a Baddog rant. It's not gonna be a pleasant review.
I'm watching it. I love to hear that. That makes my day when Chris says to freaking go off. That's beautiful. That's wow. You really weren't happy with that movie.
I was not happy with the reinstallment of the new Matrix series. No.
That sucks. That's always a letdown to go to the movies and you don't even expect a ton and it still disappoints you. Kind of like us with the Giants. You don't even expect a ton and they still disappoint us. It's amazing. It's amazing. MetLife Stadium sucks. Great name. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, I think the new GM of the Giants will make a surprise pick and select the quarterback. Not what I want to happen, but I think it will happen. I hope not. Not in the top 10. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it all depends on who the GM is going to be. But, I mean, the way they're making it sound, and let me say hello to a couple of people in the chat. Mike in the chat, Agitator in the chat, Fabian in the chat. Who else we got in here? Greg Harris, Up Tainah Senior in the chat. Danny Duds in the chat. Thank you to everybody for being here. Appreciate it. It wouldn't shock me. I think it's going to depend on, who the new GM is going to be. But from what Judge has said, and, who knows, you can't take him for his word. But if Judge is coming back, Judge has made it sound like, he wants to push forward with Jones next year. But that'll all sort itself out in the offseason, and we'll get, better answers with that. But I'm definitely not – I definitely think it's a possibility. I'm definitely going to look into the quarterbacks because I think it's possible we'll take one. I just don't want to, but I think it's a possibility.
Please no. Oh, God, no. Yeah. Please no. Donovan, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, Riley Dixon was robbed. How did he make the Pro Bowl? He freaking sucks. And this was a comment that where'd it go? Where does it go? Where the hell is this? I saw this on a video. I love this comment. He was talking about Man on Fire. Mike Gorgon says, Baddog's art is rage, and he's painting his masterpiece. I certainly have painted a masterpiece of rage this season when it comes to the New York Giants. And again, it's not all been full-blown rage. Some of it is satire and sarcasm and humor. But it is all from a place of disappointment. There's no doubt about that. Some days I just feel like screaming and I'm pissed off. And then other days I'm like, this is just such a joke. I got to make fun of it. I can't even help it. And it's unfortunate that it's come to that. It's been a terrible year again. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any, from what we're hearing anyway, it doesn't look like anything is going to change going forward outside of Gettleman. But if they hire in-house, it's the same mess.
If they hire Kevin Abrams, I mean, I would rather keep Gettleman than hire Kevin Abrams.
Yeah,
to be
I'm
honest
the same way.
If you're going to make a change like that, which to me is not a change, just keep Gettleman for another year and then blow it up if things don't work after that. That's my mindset on. There's no change with Kevin Abrams. So what's the point? And I think it's actually worse because you're probably going to give Abrams more than a year to prove himself. So it's a longer commitment. I'd rather just bring back Gettleman for a year than bringing an in-house guy like Kevin Abrams if you're going to go that route. So if they do that, I will definitely be ripping the New York Giants apart. I still don't think they'll do that, but if they do, I will rip them apart.
Oh, good. You and me both. Benjamin, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate the super chat. It says Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Ramsey, and Matt Gay will represent the Rams in the Pro Bowl. I can't wait for Max and Brandon to come out of the closet and finally be open and honest to the world. And Benjamin, thank you for the whee! It's been a while since I've done those. I got the spin back. Thank you, Benjamin. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, my man. And Big Daddy, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that, my man. He says Mara's making the same mistakes over and over.
Yeah.
This is why we don't improve.
The team. And yeah, I'm at the point where I think it's time for. I can't even flip out because I already know what's coming.
I know. I'm the same way, and I'm still going to flip out.
I know. I think Judge is going to stay, and I think they're going to find a GM to fit around Judge, whether it's in-house or whether it's with the Patriots. I could only hope it works out. You know, it's kind of like this offseason when they didn't draft offensive linemen. When in my heart I thought it was a mistake. I hoped it worked out. If they bring back Judge and they fit a GM around him, I hope it works out. I don't think it will.
Well, all right. Let's talk about Daniel Jones. Obviously, Daniel Jones out for the year, which makes sense. I wouldn't hurry him back. There's no reason to bring him back. Do you think he's played his last game as a New York Giant? It's possible, right?
It's possible. I'm going to say no. I think he'll be back next year.
I agree. I think
he'll be back next year. Before the injury, I thought it was possible that the Giants may trade him and get, a second, third round pick, similar to the Darnold deal. But now with this injury, with the neck issue, I don't know how much he's going to be worth on the open market. So at that point, if they're not drafting a quarterback and you're not going to be able to get much from on the trade market, I'm leaning that Jones will be here for one more year, unless they draft a quarterback. If they draft a quarterback, obviously that changes. I still don't think they will. I think they'll bring in a backup that could compete with Jones, not like a Mike Glennon type backup, maybe a guy like Jacoby Brissett, like a legitimate backup that could come in and compete with Jones. And if Jones does not play well, he'll get replaced. Like he's not going to be given the red carpet next year. But if you ask me right now, I think Jones will be here for one more year.
Sterling Shepard played his last game for the New York Giants.
Yes, I think Sterling Shepard may have played his last game of his NFL career.
Really?
I hope that's not the case. But the guy's had so many injuries. He had concussion problems in the past. Now with a torn Achilles, and the fact that it happened so late in this season leads you to believe that he's probably not going to be able to play next year.
Right.
I mean, that's usually like a year recovery.
Yep.
And who knows? I mean, maybe he'll try to come back, and maybe he will be good. But as far as the Giants goes, I think he's done with the Giants.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think that he's coming back. I think that he's done because this did happen really late in the season. There's 3 weeks left. It usually does take you a good year to recover from that. And it's unfortunate that happened to him. So you don't want to see anybody get hurt. And again, I had such high hopes for Shepard coming out of Oklahoma. I thought he was going to be so good for us. I thought he was exactly what we needed. I'm like, because we had Beckham at the time. And I remember just thinking, God, we got a number one, and now we got a really, really solid number two with Sterling Shepard. I was like, you got your explosive number one guy outside. You got Shep that can play outside or in the slot. I thought Shepard would be so good with Odell Beckham. I really did. And then he had a pretty good rookie season, but then again, the injury started to creep up on him, and he never really fulfilled. Again, I know some people are like, you're hard on Shepard, but you got to remember, I'm an Oklahoma fan, so I always have like higher expectations for the guys out of Oklahoma. It's just the way it goes. I had high expectations for Baker Mayfield. He obviously isn't good. He's not bad. He's not good though either. Kyler Murray is what I thought. I mean, Kyler Murray is a superstar. He's a gunslinger. That's what he does. But he's really good. So, but yeah, it sucks for Sterling Shepard. Alex,
the thing with the Shepard injury during the game, like I said, that it really brought attention to for me, they got to fix the turf. And I don't know if the turf is what caused that or not. But if you go back and watch the replay, as soon as he tried to, break off his route,
you saw the shit kick up underneath the shoe.
Yes. So for me, I don't know how they could fix this. I think Patricia Trader told me on Twitter that they did change the turf 2 years ago, and in the past when they had grass, it was a mess. They got to fix something because that's been a problem here now for a couple of years that a lot of people have talked about. And yeah, if you ask me right now, I would say the turf at least may have contributed to Sterling Shepard's injury. So that was the first thing that I thought of when he went down with that injury is they got to do something about the turf.
Yeah, I agree because, again, people have complained about that turf, and it's just amazing how we can't even get the damn turf right. Not only can we not get the team right, the Jets can't get the team right. They play in the same stadium. We can't get the turf right. Can't get Fan Appreciation Day right. Can't get the draft right. Can't get free agency right. This team just can't get right at all. 5th year in a row, this team has lost 10 games or more. That's never happened in their franchise's history. The most they ever lost was 3 straight 10-loss seasons, 78 through 80. This is a 5th straight season that this team is going to lose 10 games or more. It is it's just embarrassing. And there's just so many questions and so many holes going forward. And I mean, I've been saying it for weeks now. I just you got to flush this entire damn thing. You can't freaking halfway flush it. Still have some turds floating around in the commode. You can't have that. You can't have it, man.
We've had floaters here for the better part of 6-7 years. They don't. The only time they flushed it all the way down was 2018, and even that year, John Mara had a say in what they did, and they didn't rebuild when they should have. So. Yeah. It wasn't a true rebuild. It wasn't a true flush. And then they did the flush a year or two late, and they're still recovering from it. Yeah. So they got to do it the right way this time, and I just have my doubts that they will.
Yeah, and I agree because our ownership is so incompetent that just they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're so far past reality, and they're so out of touch. Like Mara's just so out of touch with what the hell's going on. Man, he really doesn't understand what the hell he's doing. I told you, you got to put him in a home, man. Put that guy in a rubber room. Put him in a rubber room. Tell him to find a corner. Keep him busy for a little while. Alex saving a super chat. Appreciate you. What about Tish? Any blame for him? He's not the majority owner, so I don't know how much say he actually has in what goes on there. Like, he doesn't really make the personnel decisions, right? That's all Mara.
Yeah, for me, I mean, and I don't know, but I mean, at least the perception is that Tish just seems to be like a stockholder, like he owns part of the company, and he's not there like Mara is.
Right.
I don't think he's making many of the decisions. So, yeah, I think they obviously own the team collectively, but he doesn't seem to be like the owner. I think Mara's more of the owner.
Yeah, I agree. Brett Karner, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, my man. He says, for me, I'm taking off to see my parents. I'll pray for me. I'm taking off to see my parents in North Carolina. All righty. Flying down.
Have a Merry Christmas, Brett.
Merry Christmas, buddy. That's what it's all about now. It's just Christmas, man. It's all about family. It's all that matters right now. Giants are family. That's why they piss me off. They're part of my family forever. And, you're always going to get mad at your face. There's a very thin line between love and hate, man. It's a fact. So, sometimes you love something so much, you can't stand it. Right now, that's me with the Giants. People.
I think that's everybody in this chat with the Giants right now.
It's true. But people are like, why do you get so mad? They suck. Like, because I know they suck doesn't mean I have to like it. It doesn't mean I have to accept it. I don't want to accept it. Yeah. I've had enough of them being terrible. I've had enough of them being embarrassed. I've had enough of them being clueless. I've had enough of them going out every Sunday and not being able to score any damn points. We scored 1 touchdown in 3 weeks. It's utterly ridiculous that you can't fall backwards into a touchdown. It's utterly ridiculous that we haven't scored a single solitary point in the last 2 minutes of the first half the entire season, and we've been outscored 65-0. That is absolutely ridiculous. When people are saying, "Oh, Joe Judge has no," I have a hard time understanding the people that would blame Jason Garrett for everything wrong, and they will not blame Judge. Like, they'll make the excuses for Judge, the injuries, the line, the this, the that, but Jason Garrett had the same problems.
You know what's crazy, and I agree with you, but you know what's crazy to me? You mentioned the negative 65 in the last 2 minutes of just the first half. So that excludes the other 58 minutes of the game. The Giants for the year are minus 93. So outside of that 2-minute sample size for the 14 games, they're only minus 28.
That's insane.
So they are out of their minus 93, minus 65 of it is in the last 2 minutes of the first half, because
that's insane.
They don't close out the halves, and like you said, they don't put points on the board.
No, and we've had opportunities. In the last couple of weeks, we have had the ball in good field position, and we have squandered it each time.
Yeah,
squandered it. It's unbelievable. Yeah, somebody asked if I was wearing Waterfly. Yes. One of my subscribers had this made for me, so it is. It's a Wu-Tang Yankee shirt. Yes.
That's cool.
Alien, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, "What up, Chris and Baddog? The Eagles need the Giants to win Week 18 against Washington, so Philly can make the playoffs. Should we tank the game?"
We don't have to tank. We suck.
Yeah, we don't have to tank.
We've
been tanking all year.
Yeah, football team's never going to tank. People ask, well, the Eagles did last year, but there's guys playing for their jobs. But at this point, we don't have to tank. We're down to our third-string quarterback. We're missing, we have so many injuries on both sides of the ball, and the team's not that good to begin with. So we're not going to tank, but we're not that good. I think, I said it last week, I think in my video on the live stream, I said, I think it was my post-game video 2 weeks ago. I think we're the worst in the league right now. I think the Lions are a better football team than we are right now.
Maybe Jacksonville, but.
Yeah, if we're not the worst, we're like the second or third worst. So maybe we'll win a game. I think we could win a game, but I don't see us winning more than one.
Yep, I agree. Benjamin, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you, man. He says, Tainah, I freaking love Zendaya. She played MJ really well. I can't stand fat-ass Ned. I probably hate him more than all the lies KP has told us. Hashtag Christopher Lakers head coach. Fire Vogel, trade 80, Charmin soft. He is Charmin soft.
He loves Zendaya. He's been bringing up Zendaya a lot to me lately, who played MJ in the new Spider-Man. She was great, and she's definitely pretty. So I see what you're seeing there.
There you go. I didn't see the new Spider-Man. I don't really watch any of that stuff, so
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm sure most actresses are very attractive. Benjamin, thank you, brother. Appreciate you again. He says, Bad Dogs Lakers GM, Max, KP, Brandon, all mums.
He does not like it.
But he loves it. He loves it. He loves it. Yeah, the Lakers, but God almighty. They screwed themselves royally.
I don't even know what's their record. I don't even know.
They are 16-16.
Better than the Knicks.
Yeah. Then now Derrick Rose is out for 8 weeks.
Out of nowhere today announced that Derrick Rose is out now for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
He got surgery. He's out for 8 weeks now.
No freaking clue. No clue. Kemba was out for 8 weeks just because they decided not to play the guy. Now he's going to have to play.
Yeah.
The Knicks and Lakers are very similar. They really, really are very similar. The difference is the Lakers have more talent, but they play the same. It is unbelievable how they do like the same things. They make the same mistakes. It is unbelievable how similar those two teams are. The difference is the Knicks will fight back and fall short. The Lakers just quit. That's really the difference between them. But the style of play is almost identical. Very strange how that works. And then Mr. Entertainer Cena says right there, the Lakers and Knicks are both terrible right now.
Yes,
he's right. They are both terrible right now. Dire Giants man, thank you for super chat. Appreciate you. He says, I have sharp metal knuckles. Trust me, I use them. Can you use them on Gettleman's chin?
What is that in reference to Mara?
I hope so. I hope so. Somebody needs to teach him a lesson. You know, it's unbelievable. I haven't heard anything. Supposedly they haven't made a decision yet. Fromm starts Sunday, right? Fromm has to start.
I would think. I mean, the guy got the last drive last week, looked pretty good. I thought he had good command of the huddle. He looked like he was, decisive in terms of his decisions. We know he lacks arm strength, and you saw that on a few of the throws, but looked like he was good in terms of timing the routes. in terms of getting the ball out quick, especially on that 1/3 of Kenny Golladay on the 11 or 12-yard gain. And I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to be a guy that thinks that Jake Fromm could be a starter in the NFL, because I still don't, especially with a situation like ours. But I'm still excited to see him because he's not Mike Glennon. But even more importantly, I think it's good to be able to evaluate him over the last 3 weeks to see if he could be our backup next year.
Right.
If he does look really good, then maybe you say to yourself, all right, maybe this is the guy that could push Jones. So I think it's important. I mean, my guess is I'm probably still going to want a better backup, but I'd still like to see him for the last 3 weeks to see what he's got. Now, the reason I'm not going to overreact to last week, one, he was going up against the prevent defense.
Yep.
The Cowboys were up by 14 points with 2 minutes to go. And now you have a team that has film on him and a team that's going to prepare for him to be the starter going into this week. You didn't have that last week. Last week, he came in on the last drive. They were preparing for Mike Glennon. So I think we'll get a better taste of Fromm this week when a team is more prepared for him to be the starter. And, we'll see how he does. And, obviously I'm hoping he gets the job done.
I agree. The one thing I did like about Fromm was he did look decisive in his throws. He looked confident. This is a guy that was a 5th-round pick. Has been on a practice squad, got cut. Definitely not the strongest arm. I mean, there's no question about that. That's a big problem with him. But you can overcome a weaker arm. Chad Pennington had a pretty successful career, with a weaker arm.
And Drew Brees didn't have the biggest arm.
Right. But what they do, if you can throw your receivers open and anticipate where they're going to be and get the ball out there, and with the timing and everything, you just have to be extra accurate if your ball kind of hangs there, because otherwise, the defender is going to be able to close on it pretty quickly. But that was the one thing I did like out of Fromm. And again, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh my God, look at him, great. He looked better than Glenn. And that's not saying much, but yeah, I would like to see him play a whole game where he's not playing against prevent defense, where they're not just laying back, letting him complete underneath. I would like to see what he does with the team, blitzing him and going after him and changing their defensive looks and everything else to see exactly what he has. I don't think it hurts us. And like I said, if he plays really well the last 3 games, maybe they do. Maybe they go, okay, this is the guy that can push Jones. We'll go in there and say we're going to have an open competition. We'll see who the hell comes out of it. I don't expect that. I don't think that Fromm would beat Jones out if they did have a quarterback competition, but there's no way to know unless he plays what he's got. So let him play.
My mindset right now with Fromm is if we're coming back with Jones next year, I want a much better backup than Fromm. Maybe my opinion will change over the last 3 weeks. I doubt it will, but who knows? Maybe he'll look really good, and, I'm going to give him a fair chance and see what he could do.
Yes. Jesse Capitano, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Have you guys dug into draft prospects yet?
Not too deep. I've looked at some of the guys that we could be taking in the first round, but not too much after that. I'm still focused on the rest of the season, and then obviously the potential coaching change, definitely the GM change. So that's what I'm going to be focused on right after the season. But I've dug in a little bit, but more so the first round guys, the Icom or however it's pronounced, the guy from NC State, I really like. I've talked about him a lot. I've been looking at the offensive linemen. Those are the guys I've been looking at for the most part. A little bit with the quarterbacks, just because I know it's a possibility. So I'm trying to do some research on them, but not a whole lot yet. Probably in as soon as the season's over, that's when I'll really start, digging into some of the later round prospects.
Right. Abe Fromm, the Sausage King of Chicago. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Says, do you think Linderbaum's are the top 6 pick, or would we be better off trying to trade down and getting him in a 12 to 15 range? I mean, if you could get Linderbaum in the 12 to 15 range, obviously it'd be better to do that. It's going to be tough to tell where he's going to fall because, again, it depends on where teams end up. It depends on what they do in free agency. It depends on their needs. Obviously, I would prefer Linderbaum at 12 as opposed to 6 to be able to get draft capital. But to me, I love Linderbaum. I think that he's going to be a really good lineman. And seeing that we do have probably 2 top 6 picks, if he's there and Evan Neal is gone and Thibodeau is gone and Hutchinson's gone, I would take a flyer on Linderbaum with one of those 2 picks for sure. But yeah,
I'm not going to cry if they take Linderbaum.
Right.
I'll say that. I do think it's a little bit early to take a center that high in the draft, but people said the same thing about Quentin Nelson, and now people are wishing we took him with the 2nd pick. So
yeah,
I mean, obviously in an ideal world, if we could trade down and still get him, that would be ideal. And I'm not even going to bother looking at mocks right now. I've seen mocks with him going in 22. I've seen mocks with him going at 13. I've seen mocks with him going in the top 10. It's way too early to really look at the mocks, and it's just for fun right now. I'm not going to put any stock into that. Really, after the combine is where I think that I really start to, pay attention to the mocks and where these guys are projected to go. Then I think you at least have some legitimacy there. But right now, you don't even know what these teams are going to do in free agency.
Yeah.
You don't know which players are going to be cut where. So it's for fun. I think right now you're just trying to learn the prospects at this point in time. But in terms of where they're going to go, we don't have any idea right now.
I saw a mock draft from CBS Sports on Instagram, and it had the Giants trading up to 2 and taking Kayvon Thibodeau and getting Evan Neal. I said, if that happened, if we got those 2 guys, I would jump for joy, literally.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It didn't go into details. I didn't see what
they must have kept.
They traded up to get to
and
2.
They kept their other first. Maybe they
kept their other first.
They traded a future first, maybe.
Yeah, if they were able to get those 2 guys, I'd be pretty happy.
Oh, dude, if we end up with either Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson and get Evan Neal, that's a slam dunk home run. Yeah, and then you draft yourself another interior lineman in the second round.
Agreed.
That'd be ideal for me on draft night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if that actually happened, I'd be like, I'm looking at that. I'm like, but who the hell's our GM that's doing that? our GM ain't doing our GM. Whoever they have, it's Kevin Abrams. He's an idiot. Jeremiah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. I love Eagle fans. Eagle fans are great. He says, a gentleman like Gettleman is our golden guy, and don't judge the gentleman Joe. He's a jewel, and that's no joke. That's coming directly from a great Eagles fan by the name of Jeremiah. I love you, Jeremiah. But that's
we're gonna have to kick your ass this week, Jeremiah.
Yeah, can you imagine we swept the Eagles? That'd be funny.
We're not, but as a Giants fan, I'm still going in there and I'm going to root my ass off that we find a way to sweep you guys this year. But obviously, I'm not expecting it.
Me neither. But we said if we only won 2 games all year, we hope it's Philly. So,
hey man, I'll say one thing about the Eagles this past week.
Listen, you got to get your $100.
I got to win my $100. But the other thing I'll say is, they run the ball really good, man. They run for over.
Your offensive line is very good.
Their offensive line is really good, and they ran for over 200 yards the first time we played them. The defense was just able to come up with 3 or 4 turnovers. I'm not going to expect for that to happen again this week, but if we're going to win, that's probably what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to find a way to turn the ball over like we did against Jalen Hurts the first time around. But they could run the football, and we can't stop the run. So that's not a very good recipe coming into this week.
Yeah, they didn't do anything in the first half. They went in the third quarter. When they got back in the game, they ran for over 100 yards in the third quarter alone. Yeah. I don't expect them to throw the way they did. I expect them to come out running, and I think it's going to be a problem. I really do. They have a very good running game. When they have won all these games, it's because Jalen Hurts is not asked to throw the ball a lot. Jalen Hurts in his last, I think, 6 games has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he's not the reason they're winning. He can run, he can't throw. He can't throw. I hope that he does throw 40 times because I think we got a much better chance to win if you're doing that with him. The interception he had last night was fluky. I'm not going to blame that on him, but he did fumble again. So, Cortez, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, I'm critical of Jones, but what quarterback has succeeded in a conservative offense? Also, Glennon needs to be in Jersey in a back alley at a homeless shelter.
Cortez, I do think there's quarterbacks that can be successful in a conservative offense, or at least as like a game.
Yeah, Tannehill's successful in a
Alex Smith was. I just don't think Daniel Jones is that type of quarterback. And I think a lot of people thought he was when he first came into the league, but I think it's clearly shown that he was better. I'm not saying he was incredible, but he was better when the New York Giants gave him some more freedom and weren't too scared of him turning over the football. So I still don't think he's a franchise guy. And I don't think my opinion is going to change on that, but I don't think they've been using him the right way the last 2 years.
I agree. I wish they would take more chances with Daniel Jones. I really do. I don't know why so conservative. That's just it's our head. So I blame Joe Judge so much. By the way, we got almost 500 people in here. Thank you for being here on a Wednesday night. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. It helps out the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, but more importantly, go into the description. Link to the Up Tainah Talkin Sports there. Make sure you sub him up. We'll be doing this show on his channel next week. We'll also be over there for the game next week, Sunday, day after Christmas. We'll be over here trying to sweep the Eagles. We'll try to tune in on Philly 500 a little bit, see how he looks in that Mark Bavaro jersey that I'm making him wear because the Giants whooped their ass the first time. We've beaten the Eagles twice in a row. Yes, we are their daddies.
Let's make it 3. Let's make it 3.
Let's make it 3. Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to just be able to hold that over their head. No matter how bad we are, just go, yeah, you couldn't be.
And they need this game, too. They
do. They do. I want to beat their ass.
Yeah, it's a big.
I really do. I doubt we will.
Game where I'm going to be like pretty invested for the last 3 in terms of winning. It's going to be this one.
Definitely. Yeah. Then we got Chicago. Then we got the draft bowl.
The Chicago one's pointless in terms of draft position. So obviously, I'm going to root to go all out to win.
Yeah. And then we finish with Washington.
Yeah, and we finish with Washington. So one week at a time.
Yeah. Avery, and luckily there's only 3 more of those. Avery, thank you, brother. He says JJ should be fired for a true rebuild. And I like JJ. I agree. Let a GM come in and pick whatever the hell he wants to do. I've said this in the video. Marin needs to step back. You take control of it. I sign the checks. I do the business stuff. You do what you got to do.
It's stupid, in my opinion. And I'm a guy that has always said you got to give coaches more time than 2 years. But they screwed this up. The Giants screwed this up by keeping Gettleman. And at this point, you got to bring in the best GM possible. I'm not letting Joe Judge prevent me from doing that. I'm sorry. And it's not fair to Joe. I understand that. But for that reason alone, he has not done enough to warrant coming back for a 3rd year to prevent me from getting the best general manager I possibly can. That's my mindset on it. But the Giants probably won't go that route, and I've accepted it. But I agree with them.
Yeah, I do too. It would be the best for the Giants. We all know they haven't done what's best for them in a decade. So it's Well, I think there's very few people that are sold on Joe Judge and think that if they fire Gettleman, they should keep Joe Judge and force a new GM to take.
It's silly. It's silly. It's like if they keep Judge, it's almost like not breaking up with a girlfriend. You should. It's like you're like she hasn't cheated on me yet. She hasn't done the thing to warrant me breaking up with her, but I know she's gonna in the not too distant future. I know I can't trust her.
Right.
And he's not. It's just not worth. If they had done it the right way and brought in the GM with Joe Judge, I'd feel differently. I probably wouldn't be outspoken of firing Joe Judge right now. I'd probably be for giving it a 3rd year like I was for Shermer. Mm-hmm. I was for giving Shermer a 3rd year because he came with them. They didn't do that. But the fact that it's going to prevent you from bringing in the best GM possible, I would move on from him.
Yeah, I agree. Abe Fromm, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. I love Linderbaum. I just think value-wise, it's kind of a tough sell at 5 or 6. It's fair. But if you really like a guy, man, you really want to fix that offensive line, you might have to reach a little bit. Lord knows we ain't afraid to reach. We took Daniel Jones at 6 for crying out loud. We took Andrew Thomas at 4. Took Saquon at 2. I don't think taking Linderbaum at 6 is more of a reach than taking Saquon at 2 and Jones at 6.
I could see where he's coming with because it's abnormal to take a center that high based off positional value. But at the same time, the reason why I think it's different, Baddog, is a center's a long-term piece. A running back is a position is going to tail off within 5 to 7 years. The second that you draft him, a center is a guy you're hoping could be with this team for the next 15 years. So I think it's a little bit different. I understand that centers don't typically go that high, but I do think it's a little bit different.
Yeah. I agree. Triple Crown Media, thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. He says, from Central New York, Tompkins. Even though the Giants suck, you guys make being a fan entertaining. Thanks for the great content consistently. And Chris, let's freaking go Mets. Thank you, Triple Crown.
Mets is right, Triple Crown, man. Let's go Mets is right. Can't wait for the baseball season if they play. If they get this sorted out, I think they will. But
I do too.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait for Mets season.
And I might say from my Yankee fans in the chat, let's go Yankees. All right. Okay. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, unfortunately, with the team, it's not impossible. He's talking about the Eagles. It's not impossible for them to throw 40 times and lose. I think that's what he's saying there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not. Conflict Radio Official, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, Jake Fromm could be the next Phil Simms. Stop this talk of trading picks for a washed-up Seattle quarterback. Keep the picks. Fix the O-line. Go Giants. Merry Christmas. I'm not going to put Fromm in the Phil Simms category yet. No. But I do agree. I don't want to trade for Russell Wilson. I completely agree with that. I that's overblown. I'm not giving up picks for Russell Wilson. He's 34. He's on the downturn of his career. Just draft the quarterback. Just go with a young quarterback. You're not paying $35 million for. Russell Wilson's not winning a Super Bowl here. There's too many things wrong with this team, and we need the draft picks in order to build. You don't build with free agency. and we're already strapped for cash. And if you're giving up picks and you're taking an older quarterback, we're going to suck. He might put up good numbers, and we what are we going to do? Maybe we would go 8-9 and squeak in the playoffs and lose. Is that what you want? It'd be nice for us because we don't make the playoffs, but you want more. You want to think about more long-term future, because if we go 8-9 with Russell Wilson 3 years from now, 4-13 again.
Yeah, I mean, I try to not just be so close-minded and be like, there's no way I would ever trade for Russell Wilson. Here's what I'll say: for the right deal, I would do it. But I know the right deal is never going to happen, because there's no way I would ever trade more than 1 first-round pick for him. Maybe an additional third with that, maybe 2 additional thirds with that. But I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. Word has come out that they want 3 first-round picks. Like you said, you're taking on that cap salary. And when you compare it to the Rams trade, people bring up the Rams trade with Matthew Stafford last year, who was, of a comparable age. One, the Rams were in a much better position to win. Right, yes. They were a team. They were a team that just went to the playoffs. They were in a much better
Super Bowl a couple years.
Yeah, went to a Super Bowl a couple years. Got Sean McVay, and they gave up 2 first-round picks. But the difference for me, we'd be giving up a top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. The Rams were giving up 2 back-end first-round picks. A top 5 pick is, in my opinion, just as valuable as 2 back-end first-round picks. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't give up more than a first for him. Like I said, maybe a first and a third, first and a couple, But for me, we're not in a place. And people say, well, maybe it could be great up until the age of 40. Maybe, but you don't know that. And I'm not taking that chance. If it was me, outside of it being a bargain, which I don't think will be the case, I think somebody's going to fork over the dough. A team that's in a much better position than we are, that looks at Russell Wilson as that final piece that could get them to a Super Bowl. I'm not giving up what I think it's going to cost to get him. So under the right circumstance, I'd pick up the phone, but I'm not going to do realistically what I think it's going to cost.
All right. Anthony, thank you for being a member at 10 months, buddy. He says, keep Danny Jones, keep all the picks, build the O-line. I think that's probably the smartest thing to do. We'll see what they do. Lou Mateo, thank you for the super chat. With Shep out, who should rely on wide receiver leader? Galladay should have been the guy the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Galladay. It's not Tony. He just got here. So, I mean, Galladay did too, but he's been in the league. So, I think it's got to be Galladay. Galladay's the guy making the money. He better be the leader.
Yeah, it's got to be Galladay. Memo Mello, thank you for the super chat from Mexico. I appreciate it. He says, how can Maris sell the fan base on Abrams, Judge, and Jones? Everyone would lose their minds and riot. You're completely right. But the thing that worries me, Memo, is this. John Mara don't give a damn about the fans. That's pretty obvious by his generous gesture of giving away a medium soda to the person licensed with the tickets. So I don't know if you guys know this. If one person, say I buy season tickets for my wife and my son. So I bought 3 season tickets. My wife and my kid didn't get the soda. I get the soda. That's it. 1 soda for the people on the list as season ticket holders, not each seat. So it's even worse than it was initially. So yeah, he can't sell the fan base, but the thing is, I don't know if he cares. That's what worries me.
I mean, I agree with you, Memo Mello. There's no way he's going to sell the fan. I mean, there's going to be certain members of the fan base that are going to be accepting of it no matter what. And at the end of the day, eventually we'll all be accepting of it. We don't have a choice. We have to hope that it works out. But I will be very outspoken that I think it's the wrong decision if they do that. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of Giants fans that definitely are pissed off if they do that. In the end, I don't think they'll hire Abrams, because I think it'd be insane to do that based off the reaction that they know that they would get. But we'll see. I find it hard to believe that they would do that. That's more of the same. If you're going to do that, just keep Gettleman. Yeah, that's what I said. If you're going to do that, just keep Gettleman. Don't at least Gettleman. I know we could get rid of after next year if he comes back. Abrams, you're probably guaranteeing at least 2 years. If you're going to do that, just keep Gettleman. I don't want any part of Kevin Abrams.
No, me neither. DM, thank you, brother. Appreciate juices. Merry Christmas, boys. No washed up QBs. Keep the picks. I agree. I don't think Russell Wilson's washed up, but we're not good enough. Like Chris said, if we were in the Rams situation where the rest of the team was really going to, Daniel Jones just wasn't. And Russell Wilson can come in here and make us a Super Bowl contender like Stafford is doing with the Rams, I'd be all for it. The fact that we have no offensive line, we have no receivers, it seems that way. They can't stay healthy. They haven't done nothing this year. And whatever. We don't have a tight end that produces anything. Our running back situation is terrible. So we have so many other pieces. We have no pass rush. We have little linebacker, we have some linebacker issues as well. There's just so much wrong with this team that Russell Wilson can't fix alone. And that's why I just don't think it's a good idea to bring him in. I love Russell Wilson. He's one of my favorite players. 3 years ago when they were talking about it, I probably would have been happy with it. I just wouldn't do it now. I'd rather keep the picks myself.
Yeah, we're not in a place. We're not the Bucks. We're not the Broncos when they got Peyton. We're not a quarterback away. He makes us a better team, obviously, a much better team. But it's not better enough to the point where we'd be Super Bowl contenders. And if you're giving away multiple first-round picks, you're hurting your cap space for the future, obviously, if you bring in Wilson. And you're also going to have to get rid of some players on this team to even be able to bring them in. To me, it just doesn't add up. But unless like I said, it was a complete bargain, I don't think it adds up.
Yep. Chris, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Prefer offensive guru or defensive-minded head coach? Me, it's time for something different. I'm offensive guy. We need some points. We need some points. Offensive guy for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a guy that loves defense.
Me too. But
I love offensive line. I love defense. But especially in today's NFL, like when the rules are so tilted towards the quarterback and offense, you need to score points in today's NFL to win on a consistent basis. So if it was me, I'm much more leaning towards bringing in more of an offensive-minded guy than defense. But I think Judge is going to be back, so hopefully he's more of an offensive guy next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Giants fan, thank you, brother. He's already offensive, Chris, if you know what I mean. He's already freaking offensive. He offends the shit out of me. I can tell you that. Derek Giants fan, thank you, brother. He says, being in PA, they're saying they're three this gimme. I want to say we'll sweep you, so F you. Oh, they're saying this game's a gimme. Yes. Yeah. I would love to sweep.
I mean, they should. To be honest with you, if I was an Eagles fan, I would think it's a gimme too, based off the way the Giants are playing right now. So
well, they thought it was a gimme the first game, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we could beat them, but I don't blame Eagles fans for feeling that way.
They probably felt that way the first game.
They probably did.
And Philly 500 has to wear a Bavaro jersey. There we go. Lou Mateo, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Yes, one of my subscribers had this made for me. It's a Method Man Yankee shirt. Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. Always Wu-Tang, baby. Wu-Tang forever. My favorite group of all time. Well, outside of the Temptations, my favorite rap group of all time. Richard, thank you so much for super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, just a sincere thank you to both of you for getting us through another miserable season. Excellent video this morning, Chris. That was a good video.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Richard. Thank
you. That's how I know Chris was going to the movies. They texted me. He said, we do it at 10:50. I watched your video. Yes, it's no problem. We said 10 o'clock. I said, I can move back to 10:15. It's okay.
Yeah, I forgot I was going to see The Matrix tonight. So, yeah, but no, I appreciate it.
Thank you and thank everybody in this chat. We got almost 600 people in here because without you guys and girls, we say it every week, you help us get through this. When I'm out here venting or Chris is venting or whatever, and you guys give us your opinion or you sympathize and empathize with Jesus, this sucks. Know what you're going through. And listen, the Giants are so bad right now that I have Cowboys and Eagles fans and Washington fans coming on my page going, we actually feel bad for you. Like, it's not fun when you guys aren't any good. Like, that's how bad it is. That our mortal enemies feel bad for us. That's how you know you really hit the bottom. Because since when the hell do Cowboys or Eagles fans, they would normally be like, ha, you guys suck. And there's a lot of them going, sorry, dog. I feel bad for you, man. I hate the Giants, but I feel bad for you. So that's rough. It's a rough year.
They should. I mean, it's been that bad the last 4 years. It's been a disgrace.
Rudy T. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. B. Diggity and Tainah, the only one for the Giants fans. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, Rudy. Rudy's the man. What's going on, Rudy?
Rudy been around a long time. Rudy goes way back. Way back. One of Chris's original subscribers.
Well, definitely one of my first 100. I remember Rudy's first comment, and he said, I guess because I was like new and my videos didn't pop up on the search, and he found a random video, and he said, I spent an hour going through the search to find your channel again because I liked your channel. So I always remember that. He spent a lot of time just to try to find my channel because it was 50 pages back in the search.
How times have changed. We haven't seen this guy in a while. Acapulco trade rumors. Good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. He says, don't you guys think we really need to invest in a much better line? Thanks for the hard work, guys. Merry Christmas. Acapulco trade rumors was around when we were talking about Russell Wilson in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm usually a defensive guy. I feel like I got something in my teeth. I hope I don't. But I'm normally a defensive guy this year. I want to be in hog heaven with Chris.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to ask me that question. We could draft 2 offensive linemen in the first round this year. Probably want another one in the first round next year. So you're talking to the right guy in this draft. Yeah, especially with how bad our line is. That's all I'm thinking about. That to me. If I'm the GM and I'm stepping in, that is my primary focus this offseason is getting that line situated and starting to think long term. So
got to.
Everybody seems to be on board with it. Fisk told me too, and Fisk hates the offensive line. He said he'd take 2 offensive linemen this year's draft. So it seems like everybody's coming around to the idea of finally getting this thing situated because it's obvious that it needs to be.
Abe, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. No trade for Russell Wilson. What about Watson? I would trade for Watson. If everything cleared up, I've said this before. Number one, he is one of my favorite players in the NFL. He's electric. He's young. He's going into the prime of his career. So he could be the future for the Giants. See, I don't think Russell Wilson has, I think by the time, this is the problem with Russell Wilson, in my opinion. By the time we were able to build a team around Russell Wilson, he'd really be in decline. He'd be near the end of his career. Whereas Deshaun Watson would be going into his prime as the draft picks developed around him. So I think the timeline for Deshaun Watson makes sense. It doesn't make sense for Russell Wilson. And that's my biggest issue with Russell Wilson. It's going to take us a few years to get better. So if you're building draft picks and you're trying to build a young team, Russell Wilson will be 37, 38 by the time you get it together. Hopefully you get it together by then.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson would be 30. So yeah, I would consider it much more going after Deshaun Watson. I still wouldn't want to give up 2 top 10 picks, but I would definitely prefer Deshaun Watson over Russell Wilson.
Watson's a much more attractive option because of his age.
Yep.
Plain and simple, because of his age. I mean, the guy's like 25. It's almost like, you look at Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's 24. People were talking about drafting Kenny Pickett. Deshaun Watson's a year older than him, I think.
Yeah.
So, he'd be a much more attractive feature to me than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about the quarterback situation in a second there. Donovan, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, I'm at least calling Seattle and seeing the price. I'm sure they'll do their due diligence.
Yeah, I think they will. I definitely think Judge, if he's back, which I think he will be, is going to explore all opportunities at the quarterback position and trying to improve this roster as much as he can next year. I don't think he's going to look to tear this roster down if he's back because he knows his ass is on the line. He no longer has Gettleman as a fullback. Gettleman's going to be fired, and he's going to be the next guy in the chopping block. If they win 5-6 games next year, he knows he's going to be without a job. So it's why I don't think the Giants are going to be tanking or breaking down this roster next year. I think they're going to try to push forward if Judge is back. So I do think they'll at least explore the option for Wilson, but I think it'd be a mistake to trade, what the projected asking price is.
I agree. Anthony Razza, grazie Paisanos is GM for the Giants. I think assistant GM KC. Oh, he likes the assistant general manager for Kansas City.
Yeah, Borgonzi is Mike Borgonzi. He's I
like him already just by his name. Bring him. I'm in. That's why Anthony likes him.
He's been a scout.
Mike Borgonzi.
He's been a scout there for I think 11 years, and a lot of people feel like he's like their secret weapon. That's what Pete Traeger said. So yeah, the thing is, I think he's turned down jobs in the past, and I don't think he's going to be running at this opportunity. But yeah, I would love him.
Yeah, Garrett, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Rudolph, Ingram, Slayton, Shep. Who's going next year? Ingram, Rudolph, Shepard.
All of them except for Slayton.
I agree.
Yeah, well, I think Slayton.
Ingram's contract is up. They're not bringing him back. Shepard is going to be done because his contract's going to be up by the time he heals. Rudolph, they're just going to cut and save the money. Rudolph did nothing for this team. Slayton's going to be here, though. Slayton costs us nothing. Slayton's going to come back.
Yeah, there's no reason to cut Slayton. So the other 3 will be gone.
Dire Giants fan, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Keep the picks. Trade down with both. Depends if we.
It depends who's there. It depends who's there.
I was going to say, depends who's there. It depends on what we get in return. It depends on a lot of factors. But if you can trade down 6 spots and get Linderbaum, like Abe was mentioning earlier, definitely. I would definitely do that. If that's
it also depends on, like, it's easy to, and I in theory, I like where diehards Giants fans' heads at. But we know this is a weak quarterback draft class, too. You also got to factor that in. Are there 2 teams willing to trade up? Like, what is their incentive to trade up to where you're picking? But yes, I mean, in an ideal world, I would love to get a lot more future draft capital in next year's draft.
Absolutely. Christian, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Evan Neal, then trade down for Jameson Williams. I don't know much about Jameson Williams. I am all about it.
Wide receiver. I want nothing to do. I think that's the wide receiver, if I'm not mistaken. I think people have asked about him in the past. He's from Alabama. Yeah, he's the wide receiver from Alabama. I want nothing to do with a wide receiver in the first round.
I don't think we need wide receivers. We're
paying $72 million. All the wide receiver fans, Baddog, they got their offseason. They saw what happened with that.
Yeah, we took a number one pick.
I don't want to touch a wide receiver in the first round.
No, me neither. No. Kemp, thank you for becoming a member, brother. Appreciate you. Kemp 10, welcome to the Dog Pound. Dog Pound members, if you haven't done so, welcome Kemp 10 to the Dog Pound, baby. Let's go. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that very much, my good man. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. He says, isn't it weird how fans have this fantasy that an elite quarterback wants to leave one bad organization for another? I hate our fans thirsting for all these free agents too. Yeah, that's one thing I've done over the years is make fun of Eagle fans for consistently thinking they were getting everybody. And they didn't get anybody. They didn't get anybody.
The only reason people have said Wilson is because it's come out now by Ian Rappaport and said that the three destinations he'd have interest in are the Broncos, the Saints, and the Giants. And he may have interest with the Giants, but I think it's for the same reason LeBron had interest with the Lakers. I don't think LeBron initially went to the Lakers for basketball reasons. I think it was for after basketball reasons. And I think it would be the same thing with Wilson. But in terms of on the field, Wilson's out of his mind. You know, he talks about wanting to extend his career.
Yeah.
He'll
shorten it here.
Yeah, go to New Orleans where there's a dome, where you have Sean Payton.
Yeah.
You have a great offensive line. Like, from a football standpoint, he's an idiot to come to the Giants, but I don't think it's just for football.
Yeah. Benjamin, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, my man. He says, part of me still dreams the day you will wear that Kelly Green jersey live streaming. Not happening, buddy. The other part of me wishes we get Tainah a missus because I'm tired of all the hog dreaming. Tainah collab with Jets Talk soon.
Yeah, I've worked with him before. I'll definitely work with him in the offseason. I'm sure we'll do some draft talk. He's a good guy.
Where did I just saw something and I must. Oh, there you go. GL MVP says, Baddog won the Super Bowl and tore our team to the ground. We feel you. They did. They tore their team apart. But you know what? I think the Eagles have done a pretty good job of rebuilding very fast. I think now these three picks, at one point, the Eagles had 3 top 10 picks with the way the things are set up. Now they could all be in the 20s because it's a possibility all 3 of the teams make the playoffs. The Dolphins, the Colts, and the Eagles. So it could end up being 3 late first-round picks. But still, I feel like they're pretty good.
We rag on Howie all the time.
They could get a quarterback. The Eagles could get a quarterback in this draft back there. They could get Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell, Malik Willis, like 24 or something.
That's possible. And what I'll say about the Eagles this year, and I've said it countless times over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
The line.
Howie Roseman should get credit for GM of the year this year. I think he's done a great job. I think all the trades that he made, he got all that draft capital. He got Gardner Minshew for a 6th-round pick. So, you know, this year, I mean, I don't think he did the great job the previous couple of years, but this year, I think the Eagles did a good job. I hate to say that, but they did.
They did. You got to give them credit where they're due. I picked them to win 6 games all year. They're 7-7. So, yeah. Eddie, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. As terrible as our season has been for the past years, Baddog, you and Chris are the GOATs for Giants content. We appreciate that.
Appreciate that, Eddie, man. Thank you very much, buddy.
Appreciate that very much. We try. We do our best. We do our best. I say it all the time. One reason this show works as well as it does, very different personalities when it comes to the Giants. Chris is the one that reins me in. He's the calm one. He's the guy that's rational. He's like, all right, let's look it over. Let's think about it. Me, that's me. I'm just all over the place. So it works. If we were both the same, it wouldn't work. But
right now, I think we're in lock and step, though. I think we both.
I think we are.
We want it. I mean, we usually agree when you have time to think it over with most topics. But in the moment, you're reacting.
I'm definitely very reactionary.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. That's why the thing on Twitter is funny. Chris, if you got the GM job, how long would it be before Baddog started ripping you? Chris said the day I was hired. No, I'd give you a couple weeks, Chris.
You'd give me a couple of hours.
I would give you a couple. Why haven't you made a move yet? What the hell is this guy doing? He sucks.
If I ever became the Giants GM, I think I would, knowing like how you and the fans are, I would absolutely troll you guys in my first press conference. I'd be talking. You know, I'm gonna go look at the. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look at the tape. I'll look at the tape. I'm going to get back. I would intentionally troll you guys in my opening press conference.
You should.
Yeah.
Because you got the pulse of social media. That's why. G-Ton, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. What do you think about signing a lineman or two and drafting one after cutting the losers on the team, signing a corner two? Well, I guess it depends on who's out there. And also, we really don't have a lot of money to fool around with.
That's
this
the thing.
We don't have a lot at all.
We backed up so much money to begin with. I don't want to keep backing up money. So I just want to draft the lineman. I mean, maybe you get a moderately priced veteran to fill in one of your spots, but I don't want to spend premier, top tier money on the offensive line, because then you're just backloading more money into next year's salary cap. So for me, I want to build the line through the draft.
Not to mention, you got to remember something, G-Ton. When we have if the Giants don't trade back, 2 top 6 picks are going to cost a lot of money. We got to pay our draft picks too. Those guys make a lot of money. Those top 6 guys. So we're going to take that cap space and have to pay those guys. Now, if you can trade back a little bit, you're going to alleviate some.
Save
of
a couple million if you trade back.
But if we don't, you're paying those guys a good amount of money. So we are really strapped.
I looked into it. It's about $5 million per player if we stay where we are. That at least estimation. So it's about $10 million against your cap just for our 2 first-round picks if we stay where we are.
Dire Giants fan, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Says, I wasn't disappointed with The Matrix. My site is taken. It's time dropping the Spider-Man movie. DM me a link.
What, a link to the movie, you mean? Dire, I saw him in the movie theaters. So I don't know if that's what you mean. I saw him in the movie theaters. So Spider-Man Matrix, though, I know is on HBO Max. So before I do my review tomorrow, I'm actually probably gonna watch it again. But so just to make sure, I don't think it's as bad as I thought it was. But I saw it in the movie theaters.
Yeah, I don't watch movies like that. I really don't watch new movies. I watched the new Halloween because it was streaming on Peacock, and I pay for that. So that was it. Kalen, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, happy holiday, lads. It's been a while. Spider-Man was lit. All I have left this season is fantasy, but Brady, 4 points versus the Saints may have royally screwed me. Yeah, that's a rough one if you got Brady in the playoffs right now.
Spider-Man, to your point, is, in my opinion, that and Ghostbusters are neck and neck for me in terms of like blockbusters this year. I know most people are going to go with Spider-Man. I thought Ghostbusters was awesome. If you guys haven't seen that, but Spider-Man was incredible. It was everything you could have wanted. So definitely worth going to see it.
All right, I caught up on all those. Now I want to ask you this, Chris. So I've been hearing the quarterbacks' names. Okay, I've definitely heard. I haven't heard anything about Sam Howell. The 2 quarterbacks I hear about a lot: Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis. Mm-hmm. I've watched Kenny Pickett play this year. He's okay. I'm not enthralled by any of these quarterbacks.
Yep.
The one I hear a lot is Malik Willis. I don't know anything about Malik Willis. So I started watching, not highlights. I'm going through all of his games and just looking at the plays against each team. Mm-hmm. So they say Kenny Willis is Malik Willis. Malik Willis. I mixed them together there. Malik Pickett and Kenny Willis. Malik Willis is the 4th best quarterback prospect, is what they were saying. I don't know if that changed. This was against Ole Miss, okay? So I was watching the game against Ole Miss because obviously that's a good team. He doesn't play top competition. He actually started his career at Auburn and he transferred to Liberty. Yeah. So he plays an SEC team, and I'm watching it. And again, I have to watch more.
Didn't he throw 3 picks that game?
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm doing is reading the comments, and there's so many people that are going, oh, what do you expect? He's got no talent around him. Oh, what do you expect? Look at the talent. Look at Ole Miss. Look at how good that talent is. If he was on Ole Miss this, if he was on Ole Miss that. And all I keep thinking to myself is, that was us with Daniel Jones. He has no talent at Duke. He has no talent there. Get some talent. I was one of them people. Get some talent around him. He's got some talent. He can do some things. But this is the thing. We don't have any talent here. So when I read those comments, I'm like, how the hell could he survive? We got no offensive line. How are we protecting him? He's got nowhere to throw the ball. And we are like Liberty. If we're playing a team like Dallas, we are like Liberty versus Ole Miss. If we're playing the Rams, it's like Liberty versus Ole Miss. We have no talent. So I'm like, I don't understand.
And the other thing, Baddog, that you heard from people after we drafted Daniel Jones, and there is definitely a portion of the fan base that is all about Malik Willis. I think it's a small portion, but there's definitely a portion. Everybody said, how do you take a quarterback from Duke? And now some of these fans are saying, let's go take a quarterback from Liberty. Like, yeah. and coming into the year, Malik Willis was thought to be the best quarterback in this draft class. He was being mocked inside the top 10 coming into the year. He's since fallen off a little bit because he's been somewhat underwhelming this year.
Every one of the quarterbacks fell off. Howell, Rattler, they all fell off. Again, I had to watch more Malik Willis, but I just reading those comments, all I can think to myself is, but that's our problem. Is if we had a solid offensive line and you wanted to draft him, fine. But
that's my mindset. That's my mindset.
You know, that's the thing.
Unless there's a Trevor Lawrence, a guy that is thought to be an elite talent at the position.
And look at how bad he's doing, Chris.
He's not doing great. I think he will eventually, but he's not.
I do too, but I'm saying, look at how bad he's struggling. There's nothing there.
But if there's a guy like that, you take him.
Right? Yes,
you have to, regardless of your situation.
Or Justin Herbert.
Yeah, you take him. But if there's not, I'm not taking the quarterback. That's silly. You're setting that quarter. At least in my opinion, it's silly. You're setting that quarterback up to fail from the start,
right?
And he doesn't have the upside to justify making that pick, in my opinion. I sooner try to fix the rest of this team, and then in the next draft, if you can't get an elite talent, well, then maybe you take your quarterback because, like you said, he could come in and be supported, similar to like Mac Jones with the New England Patriots.
Right.
He came in, not that we would be that good after 1 year, but if you really pay attention to this offensive line and fix this line, you set it up for a guy that maybe isn't an incredible quarterback to be able to come in and succeed. You know, and in this draft, I don't think there is an incredible quarterback. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. And I'm definitely going to do some more research leading up into it, but I don't feel there's a Kyler Murray. I don't feel there's a
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I don't feel there's a quarterback like that in this draft.
And I agree. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like these guys would fail with the Giants. Yeah. That's my biggest issue because they don't have a supporting cast. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think any of them are elite to raise to be able to overcome things like Justin Herbert. I don't see anybody with a Justin Herbert arm. I don't see anybody with the Kyler Murray explosiveness. Malik Willis is a very strong arm. That I do know.
He's got a quick release too. He's got a quick release.
He has a quick release. He has a strong arm, and he's fast.
Yeah.
But again, when I was reading those comments, I'm not saying these are Giants fans, by the way. Saying I'm just reading that, but I know some Giants, like Jeffrey Abbey was actually on there, and he's like, "Oh, interesting" or something. And I think that was because a guy. This I found Jeffrey Abbey because I read a comment that said Malik Willis is supposed to be really impressive running the ball. He averages 4.8 yards a carry. That's terrible. And I responded with, you got to understand in college, when you get sacked, it counts against your rushing yards. So he got sacked 51 times this year. So if you take the sack yardage away, he probably averages 8 to 9 yards a carry. It's much different. In the NFL, that doesn't count against him. But if you're getting sacked 51 times, you have to figure you've lost 200 to 300 yards at least in 51 sacks. So he would have like 1,100 and some odd yards rushing instead of 800. I'm guessing.
I didn't know that about college.
So it does make a difference. Again, I'm not saying Malik Willis can't be good in the NFL, but on our team, I think he would be in trouble. If you put him on Pittsburgh, say, or Philadelphia, if he went to the Eagles, he could be very good there because their offensive line is very good. They got a very good running game. So they could use another receiver. Devontae Smith seems to be pretty good. Their other receivers are trash, and the Eagle fans will tell you that. But they could afford that. They could get Malik Willis. They could get it. They have 3 first-round picks, no matter where they are. Malik Willis could fall back into the 20s. They could get him there. They could draft their wide receiver in the 20s. And maybe they could get whatever else they need. I don't know. I don't really pay much attention to them. But what I'm saying is he would have a lot more chance to succeed on a team with a good offensive line as opposed to a sieve, which is what we have.
And the other thing is, as high as we're picking in the draft, you got to commit 3 years to this guy.
Right.
If you take him with a top 5-6 pick, you can't give up on him after 1 year when you're paying him the amount of money you're going to be paying him. So if you don't have the way I look at it is, and this is how, if I was a GM, how I would evaluate it. If I was not in a position to get the most, or at least close to the most out of a quarterback, and I knew the quarterback was coming into a horrible situation, I would look at the quarterback draft class and I would say, is there another Malik Willis in most draft classes? Is there another Matt Corral in most draft classes? Is there another Kenny Pickett in most draft classes? And if my answer is yes, I wait and I fix the other parts of the team.
Yep, that's a great point. Yeah, and it's not just Malik Willis. It's Kenny Pickett. It's Matt Corral. It's people are saying Carson Strong. Carson Strong's
got an arm.
I haven't watched Nevada since Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a little bit of him because people have told me about him. He's got an arm. He's got a strong arm. But, what's his name? The guy that got drafted by the Colts. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who I liked. Got drafted in the 4th round, had a big arm. Big arm doesn't mean much. It's a nice attribute.
Russell had a big arm, too. Where's he?
Yeah, but he does have a big arm. He's probably got the biggest arm in the draft class, Carson Strong.
So, again, I just feel like we don't have enough to support a rookie quarterback. I just don't believe that's the case. Now, if you could get one second round, if you wanted to draft 2 offensive linemen in the 1st round and you could get one of those guys in the 2nd, maybe if you could trade back, I don't know. But like you said, if we got one in the 2nd round, you're not really committed to him. You could dump him after a year or 2 if you really felt like it was no good. And then you could get a quarterback the next year if that's what you felt like doing. But not in the 1st round. I just don't, unless we're trading back into the 20s and getting future firsts, then I would okay it. But my point is not in the top 10. No way, no how am I drafting a quarterback 6th again. Not in this class.
Mistake. And I said Jacob Eason was the quarterback I was thinking of, by the way.
Yes.
So thank you guys. But it's a mistake. It would be, I mean, if they did that, essentially what the Giants would be doing, and again, one of these quarterbacks could surprise us. It happens.
It could. Yes, it does. But
essentially, just like Daniel Jones could have surprised us. Most people thought that was a bad pick. But if the Giants took a quarterback in the top 5 or 6 in this year's draft, the Giants essentially would have taken a top 6 pick at the quarterback position in the 2 weakest or thought to be weakest quarterback draft classes in the last decade.
Yep.
Like, I mean, 2019, everybody said it was a weak class. Everybody's saying it about this one. There's not, I mean, most people don't think there's a Justin Herbert in this draft class. Most people don't think there's a Trevor Lawrence in this draft class.
Kyler Murray.
A Kyler Murray in this draft class. So the Giants essentially would be doubling down on what they did with Daniel Jones.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's a mistake, especially being that we don't have the team to support the guy.
I agree. And I know Giants fans just want to get rid of Daniel Jones. And it's understandable. I'm not questioning that. Daniel Jones is not the future of this team. We all know that at this point. But again, to me, I just feel like build the line first and then worry about your quarterback the next season. There's no reason you can't bring Daniel Jones back here for another year. And again, if you're bringing back Joe Judge and you're bringing in, you might as well just chuck 2022 in the garbage. To me, the rebuild is going to start in 2023. That's the way I look at this. That's really where this should begin. But you want to talk about building the foundation. Joe Judge wants to talk about this is where you do it. The foundation of your team is your offensive and defensive lines. So when he says we have building blocks, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. There's maybe Andrew Thomas.
That's it.
You need to build the foundation there. So start by building that foundation. That's where you want to build. That's your strong foundation. Right? And then you go above the ground and start building a really nice first floor with all, the gazebo and the open floor plan and all nice stuff. That's your quarterback. And then you build all the other stuff up around him, your tight ends, your wide receivers and all that stuff. But you need that foundation because if that's weak, the house is going to crumble. That's what's been going on for the last 10 years. Our foundation, our offensive line has sucked for 10 years, which is why no matter who the hell the quarterback's been, whether it was Eli or it was Daniel Jones, we failed. That's really it. Yeah. Jeremiah, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. He says, Merry holiday, gents. You two are definitely a class act. I hope for Christmas you get to become Regals fans. I know he meant to say Eagles fans. You both deserve it. We love you, Jeremiah. That'll never happen in a million years.
Merry Christmas, Jeremiah, man.
Merry Christmas, buddy, but that'll never happen.
Thanks for being a great supporter for both our channels.
He's the man.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Yes. Nikki Sapp, thank you, brother. I appreciate the super chat. He says, how we doing, boys? We're still Giants fans, so yeah, it tells you how that's going. He says, Howell is still my number one. Lost all of his help. Whole O-line, Diami Brown, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams. Have a Merry Christmas.
You as well, Nikki, man. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And he does a lot of work on the draft. Hal was thought to be, if not the number one, the number 2 coming in to the college season, and maybe he will be. I don't want to draft him, but maybe he will be the best quarterback in this draft class. That's the other thing. There's nobody knows. Nobody. You hear Pickett. Who knows? Maybe things will sort themselves out at the combine. nobody has a consensus number one in this draft class.
That's the other thing. We have to look at the combine too. Got to look at the tape.
Look at the tape.
Got to look at the tape. Inside the game. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says we need a petition for a turf grass. I believe more injuries happen at MetLife than any other stadium.
It's a problem.
It is a problem.
It's a major problem.
It is.
Maybe that's not what caused the injury. But regardless, it's been a problem. Teams have complained about it.
Yes, I was going to say there's been a lot of complaints about that. Andy, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. Cheers, my good man. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. He says, evening, gents. I'm so split for this weekend. Half of me wants to smash the Eagles. I'm not split. I want to smash the Eagles. I don't care. He says the other half wants us to tank. I hate to say it. I also want to see Fromm play a whole game. I think he's half decent. Merry Christmas to both of you. Merry Christmas, Andy.
You as well, man.
I still want to smash the Eagles.
You have a chance to knock the Eagles out of the, at least as of now, out of the playoffs, and they still got the Cowboys on their schedule. So if they lose to us, Cowboys, the Eagles probably ain't making the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm taking my chances there, and I'm gonna root my ass off to beat the Eagles. But if they do lose, you look at it like that from a glass half full approach. You say, all right, at least the draft pick didn't get hurt. So that's right. The way I'm approaching this game.
Same thing here. But I would love to hold it over and say, we swept you. We suck, and you can't beat us. I like I used to do to Washington. That was fun. You can't beat us. You know. But like I said, at least I won the first part of the bet, and I ain't got to wear it. And I know Benjamin hates it, but I ain't got to wear the Eric Allen jersey. But Philly going to look good in Bavaro. T, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. PFF has Neil at 5, Linderbaum at 6. Take them. I would take them both if the opportunity was there.
Yeah, T up. Let's put it this way, and maybe they won't do that. If my Andrew Thomas reaction times that by 10, if they end up getting both, top, the top center in this year's draft class and the top tackle in this year's draft class, times my reaction by 10. If that's what they take out of this draft, I'll be thrilled.
That'd be amazing.
I don't care where he's picked. I don't care where he's picked. I don't care if he's 6 or 13. If he's going to be a premier center for this team, I'll be thrilled if they get both of those players.
Yes, I agree. Irish Rover, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. Says, talking about drafting a quarterback, this draft is ludicrous. We need to fix the O-line and D-line, period. I'm so pissed we're still talking about fixing our O-line and getting an edge. Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Merry Christmas to you, Irish.
We agree. It's time to build in the trenches.
I think we've been saying it forever. So let's finally do it. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's see if they do it this year.
Yeah, I mean, hell, when Chris and I started the show, we were talking about getting offensive line help and drafting Justin Herbert. That's where we were in 2018. If they only would have listened to us then. I know we really didn't. Our channel size, we were relatively unknown. Our show had just started. I joke around that we had like 7 people in the live chat. We got 600 people in here. By the way, thank you for being here. If you haven't done so, hit the like button. It helps out the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. More importantly, go into the description. Subscribe to the Entertainment Talking Sports. First link there is his channel. Just in case you happen to be new to the show, we do this every week. We alternate channels. We also stream every Giants game together. We alternate channels when we do that as well. So hopefully you guys will like, subscribe, ring the bell. And like I said, definitely make sure you go to Entertainment. So if they would have just listened to us, a couple of unknown people.
I think they would have taken Herbert. I'll take that.
Well, it said Gettleman did say he loved
They were going to take Herbert had he come out, but Giants lucky didn't, but he would have been a Giant.
And they should have did it anyway. And Selmo Polanco, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Says, I understand why fans want a quarterback. We will never be Super Bowl contenders with a good quarterback. Our limit with good roster is playoff contending roster.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Anselmo. But for me, it's about the right quarterback.
Right.
It's not just about taking a quarterback to take a quarterback. It's not. For me, and I've said this before the year started, it's not about drafting a quarterback that's better than Daniel Jones. It's about drafting a quarterback, like you said, that can win a Super Bowl.
Right.
And there is maybe one of these guys will be one of those quarterbacks, but most people feel that in this draft class, there's not one of those guys. And we don't have the team situated to be able to maximize an average. Like if you put, and you call me biased as hell, I think Dak Prescott is a slightly above average quarterback, but I think he's an incredible situation. Dak Prescott's only had 1 year in his entire career where he's had over 100 QB rating. He's only had 1 year in his entire career where he's thrown over 30 touchdowns, but he's in an incredible situation. If we had a situation like Dallas, I might say to you, yeah, maybe Kenny Pickett could be Dak Prescott.
Agreed.
But we don't have that.
Agreed.
So if there is not an elite quarterback, you don't just take him to take him. Not, oh, he's a little bit better than Daniel Jones. What does that mean?
Right.
What does that mean? Is Kirk Cousins going to win a Super Bowl? Is Ryan Tannehill really going to win a Super Bowl? So it's about the right quarterback. It's not just about taking one to take one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Could not agree more. Sean, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Who do you take if we get number one? Yes, it's possible. Aiden Hutchinson probably.
One of the two, Thibodeau or Hutchinson. It's not going to happen, but if it does, one of the two edge rushers.
Yeah. Blake, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, would you be more pissed off if Gettleman gets a retirement press conference or if we just got a press release saying he retired? I'd be more pissed off if we just had a press release.
Yeah, I would like to hear him talk. I don't think he's going to talk, though. If I had to guess, I don't know how this is typically handled. But if I had to guess, I think he'll retire. Well, Coughlin had a press release when he retired.
And he told John Merrick, go shut it.
Yeah, but obviously Coughlin was much more adored by the fan base. So I don't know what they'll do. I think in the end, Gettleman will retire. I don't know if he'll have a press release or not. I don't think he's going to be fired. I think he'll retire.
Yeah. I don't think Merrick would fire him. He should, though, but he won't because he deserves to be fired. He doesn't deserve to retire.
I agree, but that's what's going to happen.
As a matter of fact, Gettleman was so bad, they should fire him, hire him back, and then fire him again.
My guess is with how bad it's been and the way he's going to, I don't think he'll have a press release. Maybe he'll release a statement, but I don't think he's going to stand up in front of the mic and be on TV. But maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah. Well, he does like to talk.
He does like to talk.
Well, let's just say this. I said this in my stream on Monday, and I'm going to, as we approach week 18, I'm going to definitely put it more out on social media and Instagram and Twitter. I want the fans in that stadium, whether it's 20 or 30,000 Giants fans, because it ain't going to be 70,000. I can tell you that. Whoever's there, they should start a Mara sucks chant. Not Joe Judge, not fire Judge, not fire Joe. Mara sucks. He would hear that. He has 30,000 fans saying he sucks and understand he's the problem. Why this team is so inept, embarrassing, ridiculous, just trash is what the Giants are. A speed bump, a laughing stock. They're a meme for crying out loud right now. Medium soda, 22 wins in the last 5 seasons. A terrible GM, a terrible coach, just disorganization all over the place, firing guys here, firing guys there, musical chairs. Nothing gets together in the last 10 years. A good Mara sucks. Mara sucks, my 30, 40,000 Giants fans. Maybe that'll resonate with him. Maybe if he hears that, because he ain't on social media, he ain't hearing all that noise on social media, but maybe if he's actually at the stadium and he hears that, maybe that'll resonate. So I'm going to do everything I can with my social media platform to remind Giants fans to chant that at some point during the game. I think that they should, because Mara does suck.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
Some guy told me on Twitter, they go, this is the same boring take. You need to take it easy. The Maras are class. I said, you don't watch Giants football. He said the Maras are class. They'll fix us. I said, you don't know much about Giants football.
Listen, man, I think Mara's a good guy. I think Mara does truly love the Giants. But Mara's the biggest problem with this team, and anybody that doesn't realize that is looking through a blue lens. He's the biggest problem with this team.
Good guys finish last.
He's the biggest problem with the team. Period.
Absolutely. Chris, how good of a guy is he? Medium soda. Medium soda. Need I say more? Best tweet I've ever had in my life. Medium soda. Nikki, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you. He says, I'm not trying to hype him up, but remember, Fromm was viewed as a steal in the 5th round. Was on the practice squad because Trubisky is the backup, was 69th on the consensus board. Some had him as a 2nd rounder. What I'll say about, again, I'm an Uncle Lou fan. Uncle Lou knows a lot about college football. A lot. He's probably the best college football content creator that I watch. He's also a Georgia fan. He knows his Bulldogs. He never liked Jake Fromm. Called him Jack Fromm. He hated him so much when he got off the team bus at Georgia Tech, he screamed, Jack Fromm! Because he doesn't like it. He did not. And he actually laughs. He goes, Baddog, you hear Giants really take Jack Fromm. I said, yeah, they did. So, again, I don't know what Fromm's going to be. I did like the command of the huddle. I did like the confidence in the throws. I'm not saying that he's going to be like, I don't know. I don't know what he is. So we'll just have to wait and see. But from everything that I've seen with him playing in Georgia, from everything that I've read, from everything I hear, I don't think he's going to be very good. He played one drive against prevent defense. Let's give him these 3 games and see what he is. Let's at least give him 3 games. I will not do what I did with Daniel Jones and jump the gun after one good game. I won't do that again.
Mike White had 2 great games with the Jets. Then he came down to earth. So
yeah, right.
Mike White, the 3rd string quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm not, no matter what he does for the rest of the year, I am not going to be sold on him as a long-term answer at the quarterback position. The way I'm evaluating Fromm here for these last 3 games is whether or not, like I said, he could be a good backup. I don't need a mediocre. I want a good backup next year, whether it's Jones or whether we draft the court, whatever. That's how I'm evaluating. Can he be a guy that could come in and win football games if our quarterback goes down with an injury? That's how I'm evaluating these last 3 games.
Yes. Anthony Grazie Paisano says 2022 draft I'm really anxious for. Can't wait. Buon Natale, Baddog. Chris. Merry Christmas to you too. And I know what the FJM stands for. Blank John Mara. That's even a better one. If you want to chant F John Mara, that'd be great too. That'd be even better. That'd be better, Anthony. That's more of an Italian thing, but yeah. You're right. You're right. Maybe they should chant that. We'll figure it out. Mara sucks or F John Mara. That works too. I like that. Merry
Christmas, Anthony. Merry Christmas, Anthony.
I like how he ends the Merry Christmas with F John Mara. With the gift, by the way. Blake, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, I was going to go to the next game, but I had more exciting plans. I had to rotate my sock drawer. Also have large soda at home. Yeah. That could be the most embarrassing thing ever. And maybe you mentioned it, Chris. Maybe you mentioned it. Or maybe somebody, I read it on social media or something. If the Giants weren't so bad, that probably would not have been as big of a deal, the soda. But
my guess is, and I don't know this, I'm not a Giants season ticket holder. My guess is they probably do something like that every year. But because, like you said, they've been so disappointing this year, it got people are looking for things to complain about, as they should. So it got overblown. And I will say, man, and maybe they do something else in the last home game. Maybe, I don't know. But compared to what the Mets do, I was at the Mets fan appreciation day. They give you 60% off anything in the team store. Like I would much rather be able to buy a hoodie for $30 that's normally $80 as opposed to getting a free medium Pepsi. So it wasn't the nicest gesture in the world. I'll say that, but maybe it's something they do every year, and it got overblown because everybody's so pissed off.
Hey, maybe they should give away seat cushions or something. I mean, you go to the Mets and Yankees have giveaways like every month for nothing.
Yeah.
Go there, get a free bat. Go there, get a free helmet. Go there, get a free bobblehead.
Yeah.
John says, Fromm isn't throwing picks. Relax. Played one series. I don't know how many picks he's going to throw if he starts. He played one series against Prevent.
We'll see, John.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I mean, we don't know.
Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Don't count your chickens. We'll see. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't.
Well, he isn't throwing them yet.
Yeah.
You do what? 8 passes? 6 passes?
Yeah. And I'll say this. 2 drop balls, too. He looked good. He looked good on that drive.
He looked better than Glennon. We'll give him that much.
Yeah, he looked good on
that much. But that's why I said let's have him play the last 3 games so we can have somewhat of an idea of what the hell he is. I don't want to say, hey, man, this guy played great again. Because Jalen Hurts did that all year. Everyone wants to look at Jalen Hurts' statistic. Oh, he threw 14 touchdowns. 7 of them were when they were down by 3 touchdowns at the end of the game. Yeah. I mean, he's thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 picks in the last 7 games. He ain't a good thrower. He can run. He can make things happen with his legs. He's a scrambler. He's instinctive, but he's not a good passer. So, again, I want to at least see Jake Fromm play against a number 1 defense that's actually trying to stop them from scoring. And hopefully that's this week. Hopefully he gets the start, and hopefully he does well. Hopefully he does. I'm certainly not rooting. He plays against the Eagles. I want Fromm to throw 5 touchdowns against them. I would love Fromm to bury them.
Of course.
You know, that'd be great. Abe, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Any free agent quarterback you'd like if DJ's injury is the worst case scenario?
I mean, I'll look it up real quick, the free agent quarterbacks, but I know like Teddy Bridgewater's one. I mean, he's a possibility. Yeah, let me look it up. I'll look it up real quick. Brissett maybe, but somebody like that. You're not going to get like you're going to get a stopgap. You're not going to get like an elite quarterback.
It's funny because when we did the first show, I was talking about Teddy Bridgewater being a stopgap.
That's what he is.
But that was 3 years ago. Yeah. I said we should get him as a stopgap and draft Justin Herbert. That was my plan. Yeah. Why the hell didn't they listen, Chris? Why didn't they listen to us? You know where the hell we would be right now if they listened to us the first 3 shows we did?
Here, I'll give you the names, Baddog. These are the free agent quarterbacks. Fitzpatrick, I'm not even going to count. He's retired. Nick Foles, Tyrod Taylor, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, Teddy Bridgewater, Marcus Mariota, Mitch Trubisky. So there's guys. I mean, I think any one of those guys I just mentioned is at least a guy that could come in and not like in completely.
I would take a shot at Jameis Winston.
Yeah, the thing is Winston. You know, if I'm Winston, I would rather just stay with the Saints on a 1-year deal if they wanted to keep me. But I would definitely take a flyer on Winston.
And Mariota is another one. A lot of people. I've never been a big fan. I was never a fan of him when he was drafted out of Oregon, but I mean, he would definitely be a massive upgrade as a backup quarterback to what the hell we have. Yeah, for sure. You know, Fred, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, after today, I have more respect for Reese, Coughlin, and others. It was time to move on in 2015, but they had to fight day and night against idiots. Well, yeah, Reese should have been fired after 2015. I've told that story before about McAdoo wanting Mahomes or Watson and wanting to trade up, and ownership told him no. I've told that, and in my opinion, and I'll go to my grave with this, I think that's why he benched Eli Manning. I think he knew he was fired, and I think he said, "You know what? F you. You made me keep this guy. Now I'm gonna embarrass your franchise." I think he did that. I think that was out of complete spite. I don't think he didn't like Eli Manning. I don't think that was personal, but he's like, you know what? This is going to be my way of getting back. I told you I wanted Mahomes. You told me no. We're 3 and whatever the hell they were, 2-11 or 2-10 when he did that.
I'm gonna embarrass the franchise. I agree with you. As far as Reese, listen, maybe I have been more critical of Reese than I should have been in the past in terms of his whole tenure with the Giants. I mean, yeah, he was here for 2 Super Bowls. Of course, he was like 97% of the first one, but Reese definitely had his hands at least on half of the second one in terms of the team that was built. The majority of the offensive line was still a Corsi. Eli was still a Corsi. Tuck was still a Corsi. OC was still a Corsi, but Jason Pierre-Paul, Victor Cruz, there were definitely some, key pieces that he brought in.
Manningham was his.
So Manningham was his. So he definitely, Hakeem Nicks. So he definitely, made some key contributions to those teams. His last 5-6 years with the Giants was a disaster. Period. But yeah, he's clearly better than Gettleman. Much better.
Yeah, God, yes. The first couple of years Reese was here. That's why Giants fans have said, Reese we trust.
Yeah.
I don't remember his first pick in 2007.
Aaron Ross.
Well, did Aaron Ross?
Aaron Ross.
So Aaron Ross wasn't bad. Second round pick was Steve Smith. That ended up being good. First round pick in 2008 was Kenny Phillips.
He got Bradshaw too in that draft.
Right, he got him in the 7th round.
And Kevin Boss in that draft.
And I forgot when he got Victor Cruz.
Cruz was undrafted free agent.
Right, I forgot what year that was though.
They actually picked him up the year before they won the Super Bowl.
10?
Yeah, he didn't make the team, and then the next year he made the team.
So he drafted JPP in 2010. He got Victor Cruz in 2010. He drafted Hakeem Nicks in 2009. Kenny Phillips ended up getting hurt, which sucked because Kenny Phillips was actually pretty damn good safety. But Reese had a good job of hitting on his number 1 picks for the most part, and he also got good value later in the draft and in the undrafted free agent market. But 2011, that's when that started to go bad. And I will always go back to him taking Prince and Mukamura. And I know he won the Super Bowl in 2011, but the pick there was Mark Ingram. You draft Mark Ingram there because Brandon Jacobs is near the end of his career, and you get, him and Bradshaw. It also saves you from picking David Wilson the next year. So, Justin Pugh was okay, but then the rest of the draft was terrible. Odell Beckham was very good. The rest of the draft was terrible. 2015.
Collins. I think he got Collins in that draft too.
like I said, the rest of the draft was
Oh,
terrible.
he was good. He was good for. He was good. He wasn't.
He was good for 8 games. I don't like Landon Collins. He was playing against the Eagles. I'm like, what the hell is this? 2016? He was good. He was good the first couple of years here. He was.
Yeah.
So, but the rest of it, he just, it's like we didn't draft for need. That was his biggest issue. We were not drafting for need. He was taking best player, and therefore the offensive line continued to suffer. And then when he did actually address it, it was terrible.
It didn't work.
Right.
You know, whether it be Flowers, whether it be Pugh, whether
Evan Ingram was certainly not a need.
That was the worst pick he ever. I still say that. I'll go to my grave saying that. That was his worst pick, and I know he wasn't the worst player, but that was his worst pick because the pick made no sense. The Flowers pick made sense. Like, I was like, okay, he took the guy who he felt was the best tackle, so you can make sense of it. The Ingram pick made no sense.
Right.
You know, with all the needs that we had on the offensive line. So that to me still goes down, at least in my opinion, of the pick that made the least amount of sense.
Right. Irish Rover, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Just don't put the Brontosaurus back in. We need to put the Rhinoceros back in.
Hynoski, loved him. Fullback.
Yeah, he was great. Cup of tea. Thank you for the that thumbnail.
That's pretty good.
Thank you for the super chat, Cooper Cup. What's up, Baddog? What's up, Cup of tea? Very nice. Should say Cup of TD because all that guy does is score touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
The guy's pretty amazing. John, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. He says, he played one prevent defense, watched all Georgia games when he played for the Bulldogs. He was a game manager. He played better than Stafford did in Georgia. The way our offense runs, he doesn't need a big arm. But that's the problem.
We'll see, John.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope you're right, too. But remember, John, our offense it doesn't run. Our offense is terrible. It's dreadful. It is the dregs of the NFL. It is really bad. So, listen, I hope Fromm balls out. I'm not expecting it. I want to at least see what the guy does. Like I said, in a full game, a full 2 games, when teams get film on this guy and they can adjust the defense and that's when you're really going to find out what he is. He may have a really good game. If he starts against Philly, he could have a really good game because they don't have film on Jake Fromm. Kind of like Tampa Bay didn't have film on Daniel Jones. And he really balled out. And then teams got film on him and we know what happened to him, right? So again, I was encouraged by the way he threw the ball. I was encouraged by his confidence because he had more confidence than Daniel Jones has had his whole career.
Yeah, no, okay. No, he was assertive. He was definitely assertive. I'll give him that for sure.
So, but I want to look at it more before I'm like somebody comparing him with Phil Simms. I'm not gonna compare him to one of the best.
It's like people comparing Daniel Jones to Eli Manning after his first start. You know, we had some Giants fans saying that Daniel Jones was better than Eli Manning after like 3 starts.
Yeah.
Like it's like no, I'm gonna give it some time.
I hope that I do. I hope he's awesome, but I at least want to see what the hell he does in the NFL. I can't really judge him on one series against the team that's not really playing aggressive defense. It's just hard for me to do that. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully he plays. It makes no sense. If he is not named the starter, I have another rant video coming. I can tell you.
He's gonna be named the starter.
He better be.
Yeah, he will.
Anthony, thank you, brother. Really appreciate the super chat. He says the way Merritt is burying this team, he probably knows where Jimmy Hoffa is buried. Don't forget the lime. This team might be buried deeper than Jimmy Hoffa at this point. Very well could be. Alec B, thank you for super chat, brother. Appreciate you. I'll trade you a small soda for Michael. It's not even worth a medium.
He ain't even worth a drop of soda, let alone a small.
He isn't worth melted ice.
Yeah.
He isn't worth yellow snow. Carlos is Vince. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, Baddog, I always want to ask, what does Brilly Brilly mean? And I noticed you don't say it anymore. Any reason why? Yes. Brilly Brilly. I was watching an Eagles-Cowboys game. They showed Jason Garrett's wife. He was then the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Her name was Brill. I just thought Brill was hilarious. So I started saying Jack and Brill went up the Brill. I got to go Brill a hot dog. And Dilly Dilly became Brilly Brilly. Well, Jason Garrett's not here anymore. So there's no reason to say Brilly Brilly. She gone. He gone. So that's why I don't say Brilly Brilly, but that's where it came from. Dilly Dilly from the Bud Light commercial became Brilly Brilly because of Brill Garrett. Oh, I also mentioned Brill Cream and all that other stuff. But,
what a weird name that is.
Yeah.
Brill.
She's a pretty girl. Just Brill's an interesting name. Not that I don't think it's a bad name. It's just interesting. Weird. I never heard anybody named Brill in my life. So, it's a weird name. I'm got to make fun of the Cowboys. That's what I do. Can't really make fun of them now, unfortunately. Amir, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. We got this question earlier. He says, would you rather have an offensive-minded head coach or a defensive-minded head coach for the next HC? I want offense. We need offense really bad here. Yeah, we got asked that earlier, but to me, everything's offense and everything, especially with the way the league is now. But also, it's about we talk about wanting to set up our next quarterback. Our inevitable quarterback. I want to have the best possible situation. I want to treat that guy, the next quarterback. We got to treat like the belle of the ball. We got to bring out the A game. We got to make sure our breath looks good. Our breath is good. We got to make sure we're wearing our best clothes. We got to make sure we got a fresh haircut. We've got to be the belle of the ball for that next quarterback. I want to have everything situated properly. So for me, it's thinking offense. It's about building up the line, getting an offensive mind if you're changing the coach. I'm thinking offense because it's about setting up that quarterback for success. Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to say this, Chris. Joe Judge is so bad that his breath even looks bad, I'm sure. And Johnny, thank you for the super chat. Stella and stand up. I hope we don't fall into a trap like last time. I can't stand the Giants. You're right when Skip Bayless is a Hurts fan. I told you. Hurts can't throw. I'm not saying Hurts can't win games because he obviously can. But I've said this. I said this after the first freaking game. Two things I said. Number one, I said Jalen Hurts has an it factor. He does. Number two, when you lost to San Francisco, I said, why in the hell are they making this guy throw the ball 45 times? That's not how they're going to win. They need to play the way they did against Atlanta. Short, safe passes. Let him use his legs. Run the ball. You guys go on a winning streak. The guy doesn't throw any touchdowns. He's throwing 135, 140 yards a game. He's rushing for 60 yards. You guys have ran for 175 yards or more in 7 straight games. And how good have you been? What have you been, 5-2 over the last 7 games? That's how you're winning. You're not winning because of Jalen Hurts' arm. You're winning because you can run the ball. If you do that on Sunday, you're going to kill us. If you don't, if you have the same game plan that you had the last time you played us where you're going to throw the ball the entire first half, it's going to be a lot closer than it should be. That's just the way I look at it with Jalen. Yeah, I agree. Zeke, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the super chat, my man. He says, I'm struggling to understand why Mara loves Joe Judge so much. He's got to go. Chris, I think we mentioned this. It's because he selected Joe Judge. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a couple of things. But yeah, I think he obviously holds Bill Belichick in high regard. He was obviously recommended to him by Bill Belichick. And I think Mara looks at the situation, and Mara, before these last couple of years was always a guy that tried to hold on to people. He is not a guy that is for quick change. And he's a guy for more stability, historically speaking. In recent years, that hasn't been the case. And I think he looks at the last 2 coaches he got rid of, and he's like, I don't want to move on from another head coach after 2 years. We can't keep doing this. So I think that has as much to do with it as anything else. I want him out of here. I agree with you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, we mentioned this one earlier, too. Do you think Shep has played his last snap? With the Giants, yes. Career-wise, I hope not. But with us, no, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's career-wise as well. But I'm leaning he will be back, but I don't think it'll be with the Giants. Yeah, I agree. It's unfortunate because I loved Shep. Sports critic, thank you. He says, I am the sports critic. I live on YouTube. I have a feeling that is a fake Amir. I think it is. I think that's a fake Amir. I think that is a fake Amir. He lives on YouTube. There it is. That I knew it. He's got an address on YouTube. You live on YouTube, huh, Amir? Very nice. Google headquarters. Skeptic says Baddog would and Chris, would you invite Freddie Kitchens and Joe Judge to dinner to ream them out? And I would make them pay the bill on top of it. Yeah, they wouldn't sit down with me, Skeptics, so it wouldn't matter because they know what's coming.
I mean, if I invite, they better be paying the bill if I'm bringing Freddie Kitchens to dinner.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Kitchens. So, well, Joe Judge is built like a pear. I talked about this the other day. He's built like a pear. You know, the fruit of a loom. That's what Joe Judge is. He's a big pair of underwear on the sideline. He is. He's fruit of a loom. That's Joe Judge with a big skid mark in it because he has this skid mark. He's a skid mark of a head coach.
The one thing I don't get, and I want to give credit to Hefe from Twitter. He makes hilarious videos. He was the guy that came up with this nickname, Joey Sleeves. In his press conference, he's got 3 different sleeves on. So does he think that that's like a fashion statement? He's got 3 different hoodies on. He's got the red, the white, and the blue. It makes no sense to me. I've noticed that throughout the year. It bothers me when I watch his press conferences.
Is it because he's trying to have Giants red, white, and blue?
I don't know.
Or is it because he doesn't know what the hell size he is anymore, so he just throws them all on?
It's got to be hot wearing 3 different hoodies.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe his brain is too hot. He don't know what the hell he's doing. Maybe he's sweating, you know. Maybe he's got malaria or something. He is on the sideline. You don't know what time it is because he's sweating to death. Quavo, I hope Sanchez is going to be gone. I don't know what the hell the Yankees are doing, but I can't take another year of Gary Sanchez and his punchable face. I can't stand him. People are like, who do you hate more, Gary Sanchez or Evan Engram or Aaron Boone or Joe Judge? It's definitely Gary Sanchez. I hate him more than any New York athlete I probably ever hated in my life. I can't stand him, and it's not because he sucks. That's part of it. But he's lazy, and there is absolutely no effort, and I cannot put up with that. There is zero, less than zero.
Like that for you guys, and now he's with the Mets. Cano too. I used to hate seeing it. He would never run out balls at all.
Nah, he dogged it. Yeah. But Cano also hit 340. He hit 320 with 35, 40. You could live with it. It still made me mad, but at least he produced.
Yeah,
and he was a Gold Glove second baseman. This guy's just terrible.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I remember when I would watch Cano with the Yankees, that used to piss me off.
Oh, it made me mad too.
The guy never ran out anything.
Never.
Yeah.
No. Danny, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, Merry early Christmas. I hope my Eagles get revenge. You probably will, but I really hope you don't.
Yeah.
I want Chris to win this $100.
I hope I win. I mean, I hope the Giants get a win. I just want to sweep you guys. We haven't done that in forever, but I'm picking you guys. You guys are the better team.
Well, strange things happen. We beat them the first time.
You never know.
Whose jersey can we retire? Oh, we're in Philadelphia. Maybe they should have John Runyon Day, and that'll have the same thing since Strahan made him his bitch all the time.
He used to destroy John Runyon.
Yes, he did. Always. And then King Dunlap, that was OC's guy when he got 6 sacks on McNabb that one year. Blake, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says the sleeves is Joe Judge's version of the Belichick hoodie. He only knows how to imitate good coaches. He doesn't know how to be one. That's a fact. I'm not a head coach, but I play one on Sundays.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's trying to imitate. I don't know what it just looks weird. The first couple of times I just like ignored it, but then I started to see him point it out. I'm like, he's right. I've always noticed that. It looks weird to me.
Maybe Joe Judge should stay at a Holiday Inn, and he'll kind of understand what the hell's going on. Yeah, maybe he would. King Dukes, we talked about this one earlier. I would definitely prefer Deshaun Watson just because of his age.
Age alone makes it Deshaun Watson.
Jeffy says, I have a Todd Pinkston day. Who I forgot what it was. Somebody mentioned Fred Barnett the other night. I'm like, yeah, you're going back to my day now.
James Thrash was on that team too with Pinkston.
No, Fred Barnett. Fred Barnett goes back to the 80s.
Yeah, I'm talking about with Pinkston.
Yes.
That was
James Thrash. That was terrible.
Yeah.
That was terrible. They never had good wide receivers. The Eagles have never had good wide receivers in my lifetime. They might have had one here with Devontae Smith, but they never had good wide receivers. Deshaun Jackson, I guess. He was pretty good.
Like a year or two. And like you said, Deshaun Jackson, yeah. But outside of that, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot they had Mike Quick and they had
Riley racist.
That's right. Cooper Riley. Yeah, that's right.
Cooper,
that's right.
How did they keep that guy?
No, didn't Fromm say some racist garbage?
Not that bad.
Well, no, definitely not that bad, but
how did they? I mean, like if it was a good player, I understand, but how did they keep that guy? It's like
I don't know.
Yeah, but it is what it is. But yeah, he was bad.
I don't know. That was not good. Evan Neal, Icky, and Ajabo.
Ajabo's the edge rusher from Michigan.
I'd rather have Evan Neal over Icky.
Yeah, I mean, I would like either one, but yeah, Evan Neal's pretty much the consensus number one tackle as of now. But yeah, I'd be happy with either one, either one of those scenarios.
Look at this. He don't have the Method Man in his name. He got the RZA, the Jizza, the Ghostface Killer, the old dirty bastard. He says, "Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you, my man." He says, "People say Judge needs another year because the roster sucks. I think his game mismanagement is a fireable offense. Those timeouts at Miami still haunt me." That's my biggest issue with him is clock management, situational football, not knowing when to take a timeout, not knowing when to be aggressive. Like you look at the way the Giants play at the end of the half. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They want to give up play on first down. Then they throw the pass on second down. They get a first down. Then they give up again. Like what the hell did they do this time? They had the screen pass. They get 15 yards. Then they throw another screen pass right after that, and then they run the ball, and then they throw an incompletion.
The one thing I can say about Judge for sure since he's been here, and maybe some of it has to do with the fact that he's trying to play to the talent on his roster, but he's been way too conservative for my liking. He says, you can't win in the NFL when you coach as conservative as he coaches. And that's a big concern for me. And I don't want to hear that it's just because the talent on the roster. I watch Washington every week be aggressive with Taylor Heineke. They're going for it on 4th and down from their own 42-yard line, like, on a 4th and 1. And to me, there was a point in the season where we were 4th and 1 on the 32 of the opposition side of the field, down by like 10 points. And
it was Atlanta.
Yeah, it was Atlanta. So, I mean, I just feel like he's too passive as a head coach. And if he stays here, obviously, I hope he, changes that and he develops further as a head coach. But in today's NFL, when teams are putting up points at the rate that they do, you can't settle for threes as often as he does. I think there's instances where he needs to be aggressive for sure, and his timeout usage is horrible. It's absolutely dreadful.
It's terrible. It's worse than Shermer's, and I didn't think it was possible. Amazing guy, you're right. That's what it was. Screen pass, run, and he fumbled. That's what it was. But why are you throwing 2 screen passes? It's one thing when you're down deep in your own territory, but why, when you get to 35, don't you open it up a little bit with one timeout and a minute to go? I just don't. He's done this a number of times where it's like they don't know. Even when on the Manning cast one night, they're like, what are they doing here? Like, why are they going like they're not doing? Then they throw here and then they run again. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they trying to accomplish? He doesn't know anything about situational football. So talent or no talent, he just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That's a problem. Danny, we don't know. Leaning towards Fromm, but they haven't made an official decision.
It's not official yet. I would assume today's Wednesday. I would assume by Friday you'll probably get the word, but I think it'll be Fromm.
Yeah. Johnny, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Oh, it was me. It was you that said Barnett. There you go. Freddie Barnett. Good old number 86. Harold Carmichael got into the Hall of Fame, right? I was an Eagles receiver. Harold Carmichael. Zuabe, I never play Madden. I don't play video games. I have not played video games in years. Between working 9 hours a day, having a 4-year-old, going to the gym and doing YouTube, I don't even sleep. I have no time to sleep. So I never play video games. I think the last Madden I have is 2012. I think the last game I bought was NCAA 2014. I think that's
I'm the same as you. I'm not a video game player either.
Yeah, I kind of just got away from it. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. He says the word manage never enters his mind. Got to go to the tape. Got to go to the tape. I got to look at the tape, Chris. I got to look at the tape. Jeffrey, thank you, brother. Yes, I don't want Justin Jefferson. He's ass. Famous last words of 500.
I see.
Imagine if they took Justin Jefferson and Devontae Smith. That'd be dangerous.
They may not have taken Devontae Smith had they taken Justin Jefferson with how good he's been.
That's true. They would have traded up.
Skeptic asking, "Where's the Manning cast?" I think it's only it was a 10-game contract, so they may be done for. I don't know if they're done for the year, but it was only a 10-game contract.
Yeah, they didn't do. They
skipped some games. They skipped games. Yeah.
Yeah. Because one night I was watching Monday Night Football, and I'm like, "Where's the Manning cast?" And I realized they didn't do it. I also heard that Amazon wants to buy that. Was it Amazon or Netflix? They want to offer them like a 3-year deal, but I think that they're with ESPN again next year.
They absolutely, and I said this when the season started, not that they stole it from us, because tons of people do this on YouTube, but they absolutely, I think that was influence from YouTube, because that's what they do. They're in their houses calling the game, just hanging out as friends, calling the game. That's what they do. I think that was influence from YouTube.
And I've said this before. It's only a matter of time before Chris and I are on the damn Manningcast. And I think that they should put us on there. I really do.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart sucked. Their guests usually aren't good, unless they're like Tom Brady. He was good. Strahan. They're good. But Eli, Peyton, what's up? What's up?
Let's go. I know you're watching Eli. I know you're watching Eli.
Yeah, one time. We'll talk about how crappy John Mara is. Peter, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Giants should move on and get Pickett or Corral. I don't want to do it. We don't have a team for those guys.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If I am not going, I'm gonna be very stern with my opinion this time around if they draft a quarterback. Last time around, I hated the Daniel Jones pick, and I came around to it, and I will absolutely root for Pickett if they draft him or Corral, obviously. I am not going to come around for a long time if they draft a quarterback in terms of thinking that it's the right decision. I think it would be a horrible decision if they drafted Pickett. I do, and I don't think I'm going to change my opinion on that unless he changes it for me from within the season. But I am definitely not going to be a content creator that's going to be talking about drafting a quarterback. I'm going to talk about it as a possibility, but I'm not going to be saying it's a good idea because I don't think it is.
I'm with you. I came around on Daniel Jones really fast, and that will not happen. And I will not do that. He will have to play. He'll have to have just a ridiculous year and not just good numbers. He'll have to be a winner with the Giants.
Yeah.
If they drafted Kenny Pickett and Kenny, I don't give a damn what Kenny Pickett did numbers wise. If he comes in here and we're 9-8, I'm going to give him credit. Yeah. That's it. If Kenny Pickett comes in here and throws for 3,400 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks, and we're 6-11, Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
And it's not even about Pickett. It's about having the team situated to be able to win football games with the quarterback on the rookie salary.
And people will be like, oh, but he looks good. That's right. Let's see if he wins.
Yeah.
I want to win, Greg, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you. Mary. Love you guys. Thanks for the awesome work and another shitty season. Peace. The Swedish New Yorker. Mary, happy holidays to you, Greg.
Thank you for always checking out the content, man.
Always appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you. Amir, thank you for super chat. Appreciate it. He says, you've made it big on YouTube and people pretend to be you in super chat, Baddog. I can't wait for this season to be over and for the draft to be here as soon as possible. You and Chris are awesome for covering the team. We appreciate
that, Amir, man. Amir's awesome.
And yes, I've had a bunch of people that do that. They imitate me, take my picture. Oh, it is what it is. I say the same thing. I'm like, oh, I know I made it. I know I'm somebody if that happens.
Yeah.
On here.
But Amir, appreciate the nice words, man.
Yeah, always. Amir's been around a long time too.
Yeah, yes.
I always say, like when I'm doing a Laker stuff and he pops in, I'm always like, listen, I'm like, Amir's a trooper. Amir covers the Orlando Magic. That's rough. That's really tough because they're really bad. St. Louis Cardinals had a really nice run. What they win, like 14, 15 in a row? He does them too.
Cardinals are great. Yeah, I mean, in terms of consistency, they're over.
Yeah, so at least he has them. The Giants think and the Magic they're bad. They're bad. But then for some reason, the Knicks can't beat them. Go figure that out.
The Knicks stink.
I know, but they should be able to beat the Magic.
The Knicks shouldn't even have the record they do. They got lucky at the beginning. They stink.
They were 5-1 to start the year.
Yeah, and they didn't deserve at least 2 of those wins. They're not good.
The one against Boston, they probably didn't. They blew a big lead in that game. That was exciting, though. Now, Fournier came out. Fournier was like, oh, look at that was a good move. And now,
Fournier stinks, man. Send him back to France.
John Kim, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, bonjour, oui, bonbons, and all that good stuff. As Method Man once said in Ice Cream by Raekwon. He says, Joe Judge promoted the wrong guy. Freddie has proven to suck at being offensive coordinator. Russ should have gotten the promotion, especially his red zone, and he is creative.
Maybe he will next year. Maybe it's I mean, we'll see. But it's possible Callaway was the long-term plan from the start. And they just felt he wasn't ready. I mean, we'll see next year, but I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think Kitchens is a dream offensive coordinator. I'll say this: if Judge is back next year, which I think he will be, I don't want Kitchens being the offensive coordinator. I'll tell you that right now.
Hell no.
I want them to bring somebody else in, or I don't know, maybe give a guy like Callaway a chance, but I don't want Kitchens being the OC.
I can tell you this. I mentioned this the other night. There's a guy on Twitter that, and I don't respond to people on Twitter for the most part, but there's a guy on Twitter that tells me, he says, how many videos did you make saying to fire Jason Garrett, and now you're trying to defend him or saying what? I didn't make one, not one video.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say, Baddog, is
about firing Jason Garrett. The only thing I said is I made a video that said, would the Giants offense be better without him?
Yeah.
That was it. And when he got fired, I say right in the video, do not expect a miracle, because he was not he's a problem. He's not the main problem.
I think we were probably the only two.
We defended him a lot.
Yeah, we defended him a lot last year. I think we were like the only two Giants content creators that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there's one or two others that did not really go at Jason Garrett until this year. And even when I went at Jason Garrett in week 5 or 6, it wasn't because I thought he was the primary problem. It was because I thought that was one of the few things they could try to do to improve this football team from within season. I knew they're not going to fire Judge from within season. You're not going to fire Gettleman. You're trying to evaluate your quarterback. Take a shot. See if that spices things up. But I don't think either one of us ever thought that Garrett was the primary problem with this football team. I thought he was used as a punching bag. And not that he's good. He's not. But I thought that he was used as a punching bag for a lot of other problems on this team, and people took their venom out on him.
Yeah, and I agree, because he was a Cowboy. That was part of it. But when I would always say, when everybody would make the excuses for Jones, oh, he's got no weapons, oh, they're all hurt, all the offensive line things. I'm like, what does Jason Garrett have to work with? If you were saying Daniel Jones don't have it to work, what the hell is Jason Garrett supposed to do? That was always my thing. If you're thinking that Daniel Jones is no good because of Jason Garrett, but then you're saying that he's got no weapons, this guy's hurt, we got no offensive line. What is Jason Garrett supposed to do? Oh, you got to scheme these guys open. Okay, that's easier said than done. Yeah. It's not. My point was, it wasn't all his fault, and you're seeing that this offense has been worse since Jason.
In fairness,
yeah, Glennon's a starting quarterback.
There's a lot more than just we knew it. It was roster construction. It was Judge. Nobody pointed at Judge at all, as if like Judge had no say in terms of the offensive philosophy. I'm saying like the majority of people, like the people that were
from the first week when we lost to Denver and he threw that challenge flag, that was it. He was on my bad side. I'm
even going back to last year, like Judge's first year, like the people that were calling, saying like they acted like Judge had no say in terms of the overall offensive philosophy. Like Garrett was a problem, don't get me wrong, and Garrett shouldn't have been forced on Judge. That's a mistake on Mara's part.
Yes, agreed.
But he was never the only problem like fans made it out to be.
Right, and we're seeing that now. We're seeing it now. Blake, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. How is our offense so historically bad? Yes, our offensive line is bad, but many good teams have had bad offensive lines. To me, it points to the staff. 3 former quarterbacks, Judge, Kitchens, and Garrett, couldn't get Jones to progress. I mean, that's pretty much it. The offensive line is bad. And again, my thing with Daniel Jones, my criticism of Daniel Jones has always been the same. He doesn't process fast enough, and he's not confident in the pocket, and that is something that cannot be coached. That's instinctual, and that was always my thing. They're going into this year, I'm like, can he figure that out? Can he go through his reads? Can he go through his progressions? Can he do it fast enough? Because if you're a split second late, you're late. If you throw it an inch or 2 inches behind the receiver, it's not good. You're throwing it into the defender. So there's a lot. Can Daniel Jones make a decision quick enough on a blitz? Bang, got to hit the out. Or when he has time, can he go, not there, go back, open? Can he do that? He's really shown an ability to do that. That's not coaching. And I'm not saying that those guys, Garrett, Kitchens, and Judge, don't have aren't a big part of it. But to me, I don't know if that's coachable. The thing that bothered me about Daniel Jones, I don't think you can coach it. And
I think I never thought I was hoping as a fan that he was going to become a great quarterback, but in my heart, I never thought he was going to be a great quarterback. But I always go back to it. I do think the Giants did everything in their power to screw Daniel Jones up. I'll say that right now.
Yeah, they didn't give him a good situation.
Everything in their power to screw. I mean, he looked pretty good in the Shermer scheme. You fired Shermer after 1 year, and then you brought in an offensive coordinator that does not have a scheme even remotely similar to that of Pat Shermer, the scheme that he was drafted for to begin with.
Right.
So I think they did everything in their power to fail Daniel Jones. So that's why I was as fair as I could be with Daniel Jones, and I gave him as much time as I thought that was necessary due to the fact that the Giants screwed him up as much as they did. I also thought they rushed him in. I know a lot of Giants fans didn't. I thought they did. You had the luxury of having Eli Manning on the team. I didn't see the need to rush him in after 2 games. So I just think they completely mismanaged the upbringing of Daniel Jones. And, a lot of that is John Mara and the Giants' fault, but it is what it is.
I think they were trying to win. I think that's what it was. And I think after the first,
I think Sherman was trying to save his job. And because he saw how bad the team was.
Yeah.
And he said to himself, if I get the rookie quarterback in early, I won't be judged off wins and losses. But
he was,
in a way, that might have cost him his job, because when you go back and think about it that year, say Eli wins 4 or 5 games over the first 12 games or so, which he could have. I don't think that's crazy to think Eli would have won an extra game or 2 as opposed to Jones, being that he was much more advanced in terms of reading defenses and things like that. And Jones came in and looked really good like he did over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Even if they only win a game or 2, he probably would have kept his job.
He could have. Do you think that was Shermer's decision? Or you think that came from upstairs?
In the moment, I thought it was Shermer's decision, because I thought Shermer felt the heat. He saw how bad the defense was. He saw that the team was not going to win a lot of games, and he thought, this is my best chance to keep my job year 3, is getting the rookie in now, so I'm not judged on wins and losses. If I keep Eli in there, the veteran quarterback, I'm going to be judged on my wins and losses. Let me get the rookie in now, even though it may not have been the ideal time to do it, to give myself. But I think it actually backfired. Like I said, I think had he done it later, he may have kept his job.
Yep. Hunter, I've seen the answers a couple of times. When I do the jersey giveaway, I don't just give away a jersey. I let whoever wins gets to pick the jersey that they want. So I don't just give away a jersey and send them a Mike Glennon jersey. I wouldn't do that to anybody anyway, even if it was to burn it. I'm not going to do that. If I was gonna do that, I'd buy one myself and burn it. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth the lighter fluid or the match to burn his jersey. Jackson, how you doing, buddy? Been a long time. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I've seen the Giants and Browns fans not to be so fast to turn on their young quarterbacks. Give them time. Peyton Manning took years to be great. Go boys. Daniel Jones has had 3 years. That's enough for me. Peyton Manning was really good after 2. I think Daniel Jones had enough time, and you can't pay Daniel Jones a lot of money.
Well, the other thing with Jones, which is like, if he had no injury problems, I might be like, I will fairly analyze him year 4, and I'm still going to fairly analyze him year 4 if he comes back, and he's the starting quarterback. But I'm going to be much stricter, because year 4, you're not. This year, I would have been okay with progress. If he became like a top 15, 16, 17 quarterback with the thought process, can he become that top 8 quarterback that's necessary to give that second contract? Next year, he's going to be a top 8 quarterback for me. If he's not that, I'm not giving him a second contract, which is what you're going to have to do at the end of next year, because they'd be crazy to extend him on the 5th year before the year starts.
Right.
So
especially with the neck injury now, with the
neck injury and everything else. So for me, it's as much the injury history as even his lack of improvement this year. The guy's missed 10 games in 3 years, and he was not himself in 2 games in 2020 due to the fact that he was coming back from the injury, and he barely played in the Cowboys game this year. So in reality, he's not been able to help the team for 30
he's going to miss another 3 games.
No, I'm counting the games this year. I'm counting the rest of the games.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He missed 2 the first 2 years.
2 and 6. But in reality, he's essentially missed like 13 games.
Right.
Which is basically a season's worth of games in 3 years. Peyton Manning was not missing games, and that has to be factored in as well. The best ability is availability. He hasn't been able to stay on the field enough.
Right. Yeah. Jeffy, thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Mike Glennon just threw another ball wide to the wide receiver. His best pass out of bounds. Don't you find it ironic? Do you think Mike Glennon has a neck injury, or is that just the way it looks?
Wow. I mean, if Mike Glennon ever got a neck injury, he'd be out for the rest of his career.
Should be anyway. If you watch the way he plays, you don't need a neck injury to be out for the rest of his career. Jeffy, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Both of you have a Merry Christmas. Thank you always. You as well, Jeffy. Thank you for always supporting the channel, brother. We appreciate it very much, my good man. Enjoy your holiday. It goes for everybody in the chat. Enjoy your holiday.
By the way, I see. I just want to answer amazing guys' question before I forget it. She says, what stats would a top 8 quarterback have? For me, it's not so much statistics.
Wins.
It's about it's wins and carrying your team, putting your team on your back. Situational football, like I said, I wanted to see going into this year, being great in the 2-minute drill, like Eli was. You know, people could point to Eli's stats. Eli was great in the 2-minute drill, pretty much start to finish throughout his entire career. He was great in that situational football, having big moments, winning football games. Of course, the statistics you need to see a dramatic increase, but I don't need the 8th most passing yards or the 8th, whatever. I need to feel this guy is a bare minimum, a top 10 quarterback, and he's going to be going forward. And
I need to feel that he can win a game for us.
Yeah. And I'll be fair, there were 2 games this year where I felt that way.
New Orleans,
and the Washington game. We lost, but it was not his fault.
Right.
And I actually thought the Carolina game, because he had no help in that game at all. Andrew Thomas was out. Everybody was hurt. I thought he played well in that game. There are glimpses of it. There are glimpses of it. You see the potential, and you just don't see it enough.
It's too inconsistent, though, to be a top 8.
Yeah.
That needs to be a consistent thing. I mean, after the game in New Orleans, I made the video. Yeah. What does it mean? I said, I got to see. This is great. And you hope it helps him turn the corner, but he needs to be, I can't expect 400 yards, but he needs to be consistent. And he's not. And then getting injured doesn't help that, because when he starts to play well and you think he's starting to turn, then he gets hurt. Then he misses time. Then he comes back and it screws him up. Then he starts getting going again. Then he misses time because he gets hurt. So that's not helping the matter either.
Yeah.
So you can't give him $21 million. And again,
the injuries are equal to his improvement in play. Like, there's his lack of improvement in play. I don't see how you could justify giving him a contract extension if he misses more time next year. He's got to stay completely healthy next year, and he's got to play at a top 8 level. And I just don't see it, which is why I've come out and said that I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and when people say Daniel Jones would be this, he'd be that. If we had a good offensive line, he'd be great. He'd be the top 10. That's all speculation. We don't know. We only know what he is now. We don't know what he'd be. Would he be better? Yeah. But does that mean he'd be a top 8 quarterback? We don't know. Unfortunately, we don't know.
I mean, I do think Jones, if he can remain healthy and if he gets put in the right situation, which I pray he does, because I want to make a lot of people look like fools. And I'm going to be rooting for Daniel Jones, because I do think a lot of people they don't give Jones enough of an opportunity. I think you do. I'm just saying certain fans, they completely give this guy no credit for anything that he does. I do think Daniel Jones, and I really believe this in my heart, can win football games and be a productive quarterback on a good team. We're not a good team. We're not close to being a good team.
And that's the problem.
I pray he gets that opportunity. I want him to get that opportunity. I want him to go to the Saints. I want him to go to the Broncos. I want him to get a shot. I just don't think the shot's going to be here.
Right. I agree. Same thing with Barkley. I think Barkley's going to end up somewhere else, and if he gets healthy, he could be really good, just not here, because they failed, both of those guys, by not giving him anything in front of them.
Yeah.
Anel, thank you, brother. He says, in my opinion, cutting Zeitler was the worst move.
It's a bad move.
But not only was it a bad move, it was made worse by the fact that they never tried to replace him.
Yeah, it was. That's why I didn't flip out when they did it. One, I knew they were going to have to make cuts after they signed Logan Ryan.
Yep, and they signed Logan Ryan, which was a stupid contract. I didn't understand that at all.
Once they did that, I was content with moving on from Zeitler, because I knew it was probably what they were going to have to do. But when they moved on from Zeitler, it was with the mindset of they're going to address the offensive line heavily in the draft. They banked on Lemieux, which, I mean, that was not a smart decision. But that was my mindset. I was like, they got to do it. That's why I didn't flip out. But I would not have signed Ryan. I would have rather kept Zeitler.
Yeah. Blake, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. He says, we need a clean slate and build from the top in the right order. GM, then coach and his staff, then build the roster. We did everything out of order. Yeah. We've been doing everything out of order for 10 years, unfortunately. That's what sucks. Blake, thank you again, brother. Appreciate it. If Cleveland moves on, take a shot with Baker. No, because Baker's would be in the same situation. Baker needs, Baker's better than Jones, but Baker also needs a good offense. No, I think he is. I think he's better than.
Yeah, I don't think he's much better. Maybe a little bit,
but he needs again. Baker's not a guy that's going to be he's not a superstar quarterback. I thought he'd be better than he is. Baker's at his best is going to be around I don't think he'll ever be a top 8 quarterback.
I think his ceiling is like a top 16 quarterback.
Yeah, I think
like
he's mid-pack. Yeah,
that's his ceiling.
Yeah, so I wouldn't want Baker. No.
Yeah,
I would rather take my shot drafting a quarterback because I think you can get a Baker or better. That's not going to cost you as much because Baker's coming up on his contract. So yeah, I wouldn't take a shot at Baker Mayfield. I'd rather just get a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
Rich Jeweler Brady, what's going on? Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. So sorry I'm late. I just traded my backup receivers right now. Brady. You gotta love him. Part of the EOC, part of construction worker Saban, zookeeper Tiger Woods. Of course, Orphanage DeGrom is the leader of the EOC. But, Rich Jeweler Brady is part of it. And there was a Russell Wilson one, and I don't remember what that is, but there's a few of them that work for that company. Zachary, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. He says, I think Deion Jones will go to the Packers. Also, can we give cement boots to Mara, wherein can walk into the Hackensack River closest to MetLife?
I don't think he'll go to the Packers. I don't know where he's going to go after the Giants if we move on from him, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay with the Packers. And I thought before the year started he wasn't, but he seems like he's happy there now, and I don't think there's a better situation for him to go to than the situation he's currently in. Their line's banged up this year, but they got a good line. They got a really good defense. They got a ground attack. He's putting up incredible stats there. He clearly fits very well in the scheme there with LaFleur. I mean, the guy's thrown 30 touchdowns and 2 picks since week 1. He had arguably the greatest statistical regular season in the history of football last year. So if I'm Rodgers, I'm forcing them to trade Jordan Love, and I'm staying with the Packers. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to pull a Tom Brady. He's going to force his Garoppolo out of there. Love will be traded for like a 3rd-round pick, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign an extension with the Packers.
Could we take a shot at Jordan Love?
I've mentioned that. I mentioned that, in one of my live streams, and I would kick the can on him
for a 3rd-round pick. Yeah, because we have 2 third-round picks this year.
Do something like that than draft a quarterback in this year's draft. If you would 3rd-round pick, I would sooner do something
right because we have 2 third-round picks. So yeah, I again, you could build an offensive line. You could bring in a Jordan Love, and if nothing else, he's not going to cost you anything. And maybe he is the guy, maybe he's not, but at least he'd give Daniel Jones some competition.
That to me is a legitimate competition and a legitimate backup or guy that can compete with Daniel Jones.
Right.
I would be completely for that. I actually like Jordan Love a lot coming out of college. He dropped in that 1st round. That's why the Packers took him, similar to the reason they took Rodgers, because nobody thought Rodgers was going to drop to 24 when the Packers got him. And Love, if they're going to keep Rodgers, is going to be traded. And you're probably not going to be able to get a ton for him. He played this year. Didn't look good when he played. If you get him for a 3rd-round pick, I'd jump on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Benjamin, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And man, he says, I appreciate both of you guys for all your hard work, and y'all are great. The only thing is I worry about Tainah's mental health. The hog dreaming is sus.
I can't help it. I love the hogs, Benjamin. You know
loves the hogs. We just got to find Chris a full-figured gal, and he'll be and he'll love it. I mean, maybe that's what we need, Benjamin. Maybe that's what it is. Get him a full-figured gal. That way, like Don Rickles once said, when I blow the whistle, yell hike.
You says, what about Jordan Love makes you? I think he's got talent. I liked him when he was coming out of college. I know he didn't look great in the one start that he got, but the guy hasn't really gotten an opportunity. I would sooner take a shot on a guy like that, a guy that I viewed as a 1st-round talent that I could essentially get in the 3rd round. I'm not wasting a 1st-round pick. Yes, you got to pay him. He's making a back end of a 1st-round salary, but he's only under control for 1 more year. Right. I would take a flyer on a guy like that for a 3rd. We have 2 3rd-round picks. If you get him for one of your 3rd-round picks, I would do it. Why not?
This is a name I've seen a lot. Where to go? Is Tyler Huntley, Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been bringing him up because he looks so good with the Ravens. The thing I worry about with Huntley, if they brought him in, he fits that scheme perfectly. Like, he is like a mini Lamar Jackson. Like, that's why they brought him in, because his skill set is so similar to that of Lamar Jackson. And they run that scheme specifically to fit Lamar Jackson's skill set. I don't know if we have the team in place to bring in a guy like Huntley and to get the most out of his abilities.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You got to remember that a lot of these quarterbacks succeed because of the scheme. And you know what? That's what your coaching staff is supposed to do. That was the biggest thing about Joe Judge for me. Again, not so much to punch you in the nose, not so much that we're going to give you a team to be proud of. It was want to teach these guys. And when he said, I want to know what they can do, I want to know what they can do. Because to me, that was telling me, okay, I get it. I thought to myself, this guy gets it. He's going to build game plans around their strengths. That has not happened. That has not happened. Daniel Jones' strength is not checking the damn ball down. And it's obvious that that's not his strength. His strength is in scoring and throwing screen passes. Again, with Shurmur, he had a lot of bad games. Let's be honest. But he had 3 really, really good games. And 4, really. And you saw flashes of this kid can really sling it around and have big games. He had a bunch of games where he threw for 300 yards, multiple touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns total against Tampa, 4 against the Jets, 4 against the Lions, and 5 against Washington. So you saw it there, which is why I had confidence going forward, because I said, well, you know, he's going to get better. This is his consistency will stop, and it hasn't. I was definitely an advocate of getting rid of Shurmur. And when I talked about the franchise, whatever video it was, I said, you know, I made a mistake because I don't think I ever considered how much that really could hurt Daniel Jones. I never really looked at Chris did. Chris was like, I just, in OGR Sports was the other one saying you need to pump the brakes a little bit. Daniel Jones really needs him for development. And I'm like, nah, screw that. He's going to be good anyway. And I never really took into consideration how much Shurmur might have meant to him. And it's obvious now.
That's why I am for Judge getting fired, and that's why I was not for Shurmur getting fired, because I don't see a reason to keep Judge.
Shurmur, I don't either.
With Shurmur, I thought there was a legitimate,
because this isn't Judge's quarterback either.
Yeah, with Shurmur, I thought there was a legitimate reason, and that's why I was outspoken. In I thought they should keep Shurmur. With Judge, the only reason to keep Judge is for continuity. That's the only reason. And for me, that's not a good enough reason if it's going to prevent you from bringing in the best GM. So, that's why I was for Shurmur, because I didn't know, but I thought it was possible it's going to screw up Jones.
I went back and I have a short on my channel. You know, YouTube has little shorts now, like 30-second videos. When we were at the game, you can tell I had a lot to drink because I'm pretty great. You know, DWG's recorded me, and I'm like, he's like, man, so I get up, and you can just tell my eyes are heavy because I'd been drinking all day. And I said, I'm like, listen, I say right in there, I'm like, Daniel Jones is having a hell of a game. He's got 4 touchdowns. He's got whatever. I mean, this kid he's having a hell of a game. We're up 27-21. I'm like, our coach still sucks. And I say right in the video, I go, if we can ever get this kid an offensive line and a good coach, he could be something in the NFL. There's 2 things they have not given Daniel Jones. They never gave him an offensive line, and he does not have a good head coach. Yeah. So that is still to be determined. If he goes someplace, I mean, if he ever got hooked up with a guy like, I don't know, say he goes to a place that's pretty decent.
New Orleans is perfect for him.
New Orleans? Right, with Sean Payton, right.
Yeah. And they got one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yep. So
I think that's perfect for him. I mean,
it's possible.
Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 there and threw 10 touchdowns in 5 games. You put Jones in a situation like that, I think he can win.
He did have a good game against the Jets. He did have a good game. He had a good game. We were down there. It's just Shurmur used the timeouts with 5 minutes to go. The one bad play he had was right out of the half when Jamal Adams broke through the line, and I forgot who it was because Solder wasn't in there.
Yeah, he ripped the ball out. Yeah.
Ripped it right out and took it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not a fan of Shurmur, but again, I do obviously looking back at it now, think that had a lot to do with his regression. And again, it's just, it sucks, but what can you do now? It's over. But I never Judge is the worst coach I've seen. He's worse than Ray Handley. He's worse than Pat Shurmur. He's worse than Ben McAdoo. He sucks. He's clueless, man. He is completely clueless. And the worst thing about it is he doesn't understand that he's clueless. Like, he doesn't realize how much he messes up.
Yeah.
Ticks me off. I don't like the guy. Shurmur was a likable guy. Garrett was a likable guy. Judge is a pompous 3-sweater wearing clown.
I want to root for Judge. I truly do. But he ain't worth keeping to prevent the GM. So I'm on the fire Judge train.
Fire him. Rich Brader. What am I drinking tonight? Rich Jeweler Brady, thank you for super chat. Fisherman Wilson, Rocket Science Mahomey, Ice Sculptor McDavid, Local Custodian Popovich. I don't know if I've seen him. Conspiracy Theorist Rogers, Snake Charmer Durant, Mathematician Gene Courier, some of my colleagues. Now that you mention, I have to. Well, you forgot Zookeeper Woods. I don't know if I've seen Local Custodian Popovich. I've seen all the other ones now that you mentioned.
Conspiracy Theorist Rogers makes sense.
Yes.
I'm trying to get the rest.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, also, he doesn't have construction workers. He's in there. But listen, guys, we're going to get out of here. I didn't even realize we went this long tonight. So we're going to get out of here. It's still 500 people watching. You guys and girls are unbelievable, man. Thank you so much for watching again. One last time, if you haven't done so, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. But more importantly, go into the description if you haven't. First link down there is the link to the Entertainment Talking Sports. Make sure you sub them up. Appreciate you guys and girls being. You guys and girls are amazing. We had over 600 people in here for a freaking team that is 4-10, down to its third string quarterback, with a team that is in complete and utter disarray. It is complete and utter basura. And people loved it when I said that the other day. They are just trash. They're grime. They are dumpster juice. They are a dumpster fire. Whatever you can think of to insult or bash this team, that is exactly what they are. A huge disappointment. Skid marks on the underwear of the NFL. A speed bump and a meme is what the New York Giants have become. And with all of that, you guys are still such huge supporters of both Chris and I. You watch the videos, you always give us your opinions. You're always tuning into the shows. Really appreciate you. Cannot say that enough, how much all your support means to us. If I don't see you over the next 2 days, I hope all you guys and girls have a very Merry Christmas. Be safe. Enjoy. Get your mind off the Giants for those 2 days, and then come back on Sunday. We're going to do the Eagles game, and hopefully we get a win. That's all. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy your holidays.
Everything Baddog said. I mean, everybody have a Merry Christmas. I'll probably be live tomorrow. I think, do the Knicks play tomorrow?
They do. The Knicks play early. The Lakers play late.
Yeah. So I didn't do the Knicks game last time because I had something to do. But I'll probably do the Knicks game tomorrow. So I'll be live tomorrow. But if I, like Baddog said, if I don't see you guys have a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll be live the day after Christmas, calling the Giants game against the Eagles. Hopefully we sweep the Eagles. But yeah, man, like Baddog said, for you guys still to be here supporting the show means a lot. So, thank you guys. And I'm sorry, as I always say, even though it's not my fault or Baddog's fault, but I'm sorry this team is as bad as they have been, because I think all of us were expecting a lot more this year. And I just hope this offseason things start to get headed in the right direction. And we'll find out January 10th, what direction we're going in. But thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep. So we're going to get out of here for the Entertainment Talking Sports, the Bad Diggity Dizzle.